trick.
Remy, you could have a job in fucking IT.
Done.
That's it.
Should be in the settings.
Done.
All right, we ready?
Wait, so we go damn and then Lalo and then start? Is that
Yeah.
what's going on?
Listen to another episode of Jits and Tits. Damn. And then he takes over and he's going to crack the Lalo.
Lalo after.
Crack the label.
Okay, bet.
All right, tell me when.
Sound effects. God.
Let's do it.
We were rolling.
Go ahead.
Oh. No, start fresh, dog.
Dude, I can cut it out.
Yeah, you can cut it out.
Yeah, cut it out.
Cut it out. No, go. Leave it rolling.
What's up? You're rolling with another episode of Jits and Tits.
Damn!
The Jits and Tits podcast is brought to you by Remy Fit, the premier online training outlet for combat sports athletes, focusing on the 4 pillars of performance, movement, mindset, sleep, and nutrition. Check out Brandon Remy at RemyFit.com and BeRemyFit on Instagram. We're also brought to you by Island Kava, where we're sitting right now. Island Kava is the first and only kava bar on Long Island, serving exotic teas and relaxing elixirs that will help you recover and wind down from an intense training session.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, juicy.
What's going on, boys?
I'm drinking it.
What's up?
What's going on?
Chilling.
How's everyone's day, man?
You know, I'm just another day older today.
That's
Little
it, bro.
gloomy.
Yeah, happy birthday
Happy
to
birthday.
D-Rocky.
Thank you, thank you.
And Doggy Daddy. I
And
didn't know you
Doggy
guys
Daddy.
share.
Mac is
I
too.
had that never come up before.
Oh, wow.
It has.
I've never
Really?
heard because I remember when we figured out that Nick, Eddie, and myself had back-to-back birthdays, and we were freaking out. You would think that you'd be like, "Oh yeah, me and Marcus have the same birthday too."
We did.
I was too hyped. I was too hyped on my own shit.
Is that what the DD stands for?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
Doggy Daddy.
Doggy Daddy.
Oh shit, those could be Doggy Daddy's clothes
Yeah.
too. I didn't even think of that.
Shit.
Those are actually for Marcus, but she couldn't find anything for you, so she just gave them to you.
I got to give a quick shout out actually to Alexa. Alexa fucking crushed it for my birthday. I think she went a little bit overboard, to be honest with you. But yeah, she crushed it. She organized Friday night here, which was dope.
Yep.
We had 19 fucking cakes on the
Yo,
board.
there were so
what the
many
fuck?
sweets, bro.
That was a dessert board, baby.
Bro, it was crazy.
Pissed I missed that.
It was
Yo,
good, though.
Yo,
She made a cake. You know,
the peanut butter one or the other one?
Yeah, the peanut butter. That shit was fire.
Yo,
Yeah.
but then the other one had like funfetti. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was bananas.
And then they had cookies from milk. What is milk cookies? I feel like I've heard of that before.
I never heard of it, but it was good.
They're called milk cookies. They were like prepackaged cookies. Unreal. But one of them, I'm going to throw a little bit of shade at milk cookies right now. They had a corn cookie. I don't even know if it was like cornbread, I guess.
Yeah.
Fucking trash.
I like corn muffins, man. I don't know how I feel
Corn
about
muffins are fire.
I don't know about corn cookie, though.
There was another cookie called the Compost Cookie. I'm like, what is that?
The one
It's
you
like all recycled.
yeah, right?
the one you
Like whatever they got left for the day.
Yeah.
Dave started eating one and he left it on the bar and Laura was like, I'm like, "Oh, what's this?" Because there was only like a corn cookie. I'm like, "Oh, what's this?" They're like, "Oh, Dave had that. He didn't want it though. You could have it." It was like blueberry cream or something. It was delicious.
I thought it was macadamia nut, but it turned out to be
It was blueberry
some
cream
other
or some shit.
fugazi shit with blueberries.
It
in
was really good.
I'm not a blueberry guy.
Way better than the fucking corn cookie.
But
I mean,
yeah, Alexa.
cornbread's kind of dry to start with, so I don't know how a cookie would be. That'd be like too dry.
The cookie, I wouldn't say was like overly dry or anything, but it just tasted weird, and it didn't really taste like a corn muffin. I don't know. It's not a flavor of cookie that I fuck with.
Alexa knocked out of the park Friday night, and then I'd never been to Montauk, so she took me out to Montauk, booked a room.
Yeah, which I think is crazy, dude.
How do you live on Long Island?
You lived your entire life on Long Island and never been to Montauk.
I'm going to be honest with you because, and it's funny because I was talking to Eddie about this
and it's
yesterday.
not, you're not a beach guy.
Yeah, but I'm not I'm not the guy to just like sit at the beach. If I'm going to the beach, I got to have friends with me. We got to be in the water playing games.
Shit,
I'm not
bro,
like,
I'll be there August
Beach ball.
8th to the 15th. Come
But,
through.
dude,
Damn.
it takes forever to get out there, so I can never really commit because I'm like, yo, it takes forever, and it seemed like all touristy to me, and everybody that I heard either people told me like, yo, it's not worth it, or people like you guys, it's like, yo, it's the best ever, I love it.
Because you got to know where to go.
Yeah,
It depends on what you're doing.
I
and
know all the-
Montauk wasn't like when we were younger, Nick. Montauk wasn't the party town that it is.
No,
No.
it was way more family oriented.
Yeah,
Yeah, the last 15 years it like blew up.
Yeah, they got way more like Gurney's used to be all family shit, and now they have like those cabanas and shit, and it's like they have like EDM blasting and shit.
Yeah, but with Montauk though, you can't really do a day trip. It's hard to do a day
Yeah.
trip out in Montauk.
Yeah, that's why I
like
could
what
never go.
D-Rock said.
Unless it's like during the day.
Yeah, but
the weekdays.
yeah, but even then, like you're still driving an hour,
Oh, yeah,
hour and a half to
easy.
get out there, an hour and a half to get back. So it's 3 hours of your day that you're traveling just to go out to the East End. That's a lot of time in the car just to stay on Long
Definitely.
Island.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's why I never did it.
Yeah.
And it was dope though. We had a good time, man. And we got Alexa's dad does some work for one of the resorts that we stayed at, and We got the room. It was supposed to be half price. And
It was double.
bro, so we go first of all, so we wake up and I wanted to be back for the podcast, you know? And I'm like, all right, I don't want to hit a ton of traffic. So I woke up, it was like 7:30. I'm like, all right, let's get out of here. She's like, checkout's not till 9. I'm like, that's not how the world works. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like,
You leave whenever you want.
I'm like, we can leave. She's like, well, the office doesn't open till 9. I'm like, that's bullshit. Like, what if we had an emergency? I'm like, these guys can't hold us hostage because they're too lazy to wake up.
Right.
I just got to shed some light on the checkout situation. I've stayed at, like, I don't know, upwards of 100 hotels. I've never checked out once. I walk out.
Yeah,
I
you
just
just
walk
leave.
the fuck out of there, and
Yeah.
that's it. You just make sure you're out. That's just so, like, they make sure you're out. People think you have to wait. I see people waiting online to return keys and shit.
Well, the checkout is a courtesy to the front desk so that if the next person comes in an hour early, they know that the room's available. That's
Right.
why you check out.
Right.
You could a simple phone call would suffice.
Of course.
And they have to clean your room anyway. If
Right.
They go, if they're
right,
gonna
but
go
they
up to-
don't start cleaning until you check.
Yeah, so
quote, unquote,
if
checked
D-Rock
out.
left at 7:30, they're done cleaning the room by 8:30. If somebody has to check in by 11 and D-Rock's room is available, they're going to say, oh, yeah, your room's available. You can come now.
whatever. I'm scum, but I pay good money to fucking sleep there. So
Well, so
Yeah.
here's
I do the
here's
same
the
thing.
rub with this place.
life is too short.
We get told that the room would be available by 11. Turns out that's not the case. 1 o'clock. We get there at 1 o'clock. Shit wasn't ready till 2,
Oh, damn.
right? So whatever, not a big deal.
All you were gonna do is drop your bags and go out anyway.
Right.
That's how you
Not a
gotta
big
look
deal.
at
That's
it.
what we did. We went to the beach. But anyway, so we get there. The guy and his wife, I guess, who run the place and own it, they seem nice, but a little bit strange.
Swingers.
Legitimately, you're swinging a golf club the whole time. Had a golf club in his hand the whole time.
That's kind of weird.
He was a little bit strange, but I'm like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, I'm a golfer.
So we check in, but we didn't pay him right then and there. Alexa's like, I guess I just pay him tomorrow. I'm like, I don't know. I just set this shit up. So I wake up. I'm like, all right, it's time to go. She's like, no, it's not open till 9. I'm like, that's not how the fucking world works. Like, I want to go, so we're leaving. I'm not waiting till 9. She's like, well, what are you going to do? I'm like, well, call. So I call the guy. I'm like, listen, I need to check out right now. He's like, all right, I'll meet you downstairs. So Alexa's like getting ready. She's like, here, take my card and go pay. And she's like, it's $300. Now, the room was 7 something. But
For a night.
for a night. So,
Yeah.
So Ken does work for them. He fixes all like their appliances and shit, and he's been doing it for a while. So the guy hooked him up. So I go to pay him, and I hand him a card. He's like, no, pay cash. I'm trying to save you money. I'm like, what's the difference or whatever? He's like, well, then I don't have to charge you tax. He's like, so it turns out to save you $86. I'm like, oh, all right. I'm like, let me ask my girlfriend. I don't know if she has cash or not. He's like, yeah. So if you pay by card, it's $586. He's like, but if you pay cash, it's $500. And I'm like,
What?
wait a minute. She told me it was fucking
$300.
So I call her. I'm like, yo, this guy's saying it's $500. She's like, what? I'm like, that's what he's saying. So she calls Ken, and he's like, no, I have a text message where it says $300. Like, I
Yeah.
called him earlier in the week, like on Wednesday, and this is what he said. Now, rewind to last night at like midnight. We're sitting out on the deck having a cigar, and she starts reading the reviews of the place because she's like, yo, how much money do you think this place makes? So we start doing the math. There's 56 rooms. I'm like, you got to figure if
They're
it's
getting-
$700 a night
They're
and they
making
rent
a
out
shit
every
ton of
room, they're
money.
making like $40,000 a night.
That's ridiculous.
So then we're like, yo, 4th of July, it's probably $2,000. So we're doing the math just for fun or whatever. And so she starts Googling the place, and dude, they got all terrible reviews.
Oh, no.
All the reviews are like saying how bad the management is, that the guy's a dick. And one of the reviews is like, yeah, I went to go check out, and the guy was super rude. He tried to overcharge us, and he was staring at my wife while she was in a bikini.
And he was swinging a golf club,
Right.
and like he was like jerking the golf club off while he was staring at my wife.
Yo, so the guy says, like, he says something to him like, hey, man, like, you're like ogling my wife. And he goes, well, she's paying to stay here. I can look all I want.
Oh my
Like,
god!
well, yeah, dude, this is one of the reviews.
This is one of the reviews?
Yeah.
Dude,
Oh,
what a legend.
shit.
So I'm like, yo, he
Get him on the
seemed,
podcast.
Yeah, this guy.
I'm like, he seemed like a decent guy. I'm like, I think he was just a little sarcastic, because when we first rolled up, he said some like sarcastic shit that I laughed at. He's like, you guys roll in here. Like, I thought we were going to have to beat you up. I just thought I was going to have to hit you with my golf club over the parking situation. I was like, what? Like, whatever. I just laughed. I think the guy's just like, making jokes or whatever. And the room wasn't ready, so I'm like, hey, is there a bathroom? I got to pee real bad. So he took me to like one of the bathrooms they had. He's like, here, do your thing. Get changed in here if you want. Go to the beach. Seemed real nice. I'm like, maybe he's just sarcastic and it's off-putting to people that don't
Yeah,
get it.
at first it can be like. I mean,
Yeah. So
Turns
Now-
out he's a fucking creep.
yeah, so one of the fucking things was saying how he's overcharging people. So Alexa's like, yo, listen, Ken, my dad, he's like, yeah, I told Ken 500. He's like, I don't know where he got that number from. She's like, well, he's saying that he has a text message or whatever. And the guy's like, whatever. You know what? He does a lot of work here. Just pay me whatever you can and whatever. And she's like, I'm going to pay you $300. And he's like, okay. So she turns to me. She's like, hey, I'm going to pay. She's like, can you just go put this stuff in the car? I'm like, sure. So I walk out. I start setting up the car. And she comes in. She's like, he turned into such a dick the second you walked out.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, he immediately just started going like, I can't believe this. I don't know where Ken got this idea. He must have been hitting his fucking head. Like,
oh my God.
You see all the stuff he leaves in my office, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, are you serious? She's like, the second you walked out the door, he just started going off. And
that's how it always goes, man.
Yeah. I'm like, holy shit. And she's like, I guess those fucking reviews were correct.
Yeah, they were.
Like,
anytime a review
Did you
is
leave
written,
one?
yeah, you should have.
You should.
Anytime a review is written and it's in that kind of detail and like a specific story,
you could tell it's not just a person who's fucking just like writes negative reviews
Right.
everywhere they go.
Right.
Because those people are out there too. You could click someone's review and look at like everything they reviewed and like they have shit to say about every single place they've ever been.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're a fucking
I don't think
asshole.
I've ever reviewed anything.
Yo, on top of that, none of the outlets in the room worked. Half the outlets weren't working. And like the room wasn't ready in time. And dude, her mom and Ken were furious. She called them. They were fucking furious. The guy's like, you know how long I've been doing work there, blah, blah, blah. He's like, why would I make that fucking number? They were both pissed.
Yeah,
well, because it makes her dad look like a liar.
Yeah, look.
Yeah,
and,
but
and like you're saying he bumped his head. Like,
all Ken had to do was fucking paste and copy the text message, send it to Alexa, and been like, oh, this is where he got the number.
Yo,
this
and
is
not
you,
for
right?
nothing, $300
So-
for whatever room you had was fucking definitely like expensive. You know what I'm saying? Like $300 for one night. I know it's Montauk. I know it's the summertime,
Yeah,
but like
for a fucking room that doesn't work.
a room that doesn't work that you're barely gonna be in. Like,
And
So
not for
I
nothing, but
realized-
how many hours did you get cut off of your room?
Yeah.
You know, you're supposed to check in at 11.
Yeah.
That's like 3
did you
hours.
did you guys leave a review last night?
No, we're going to though. So I realized, I'm like, yo, I bet you, because I walked in and I called to wake this guy up to get in there early. He was probably saw me walk in and was like, this guy doesn't know the deal. I'm gonna fucking bang him.
Yeah.
You know, and the second that Alexa came in, I was like, no, this is what got said. All of a sudden he changed his tune. Like, why would, if that wasn't the case, if he didn't know that was the price he agreed on, why would he just been like, whatever, pay me whatever you want? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
So he knew it.
he set out to try to
Well,
get over
it's
him.
just
Yeah,
like-
he was trying to get over because he pushed for cash. If you just went for card, bro, if you just swiped your card and then you get a receipt for $500, it's like the damage is done. They got to reverse that. And he's like, sorry.
Yeah, but you could also fight that.
I know. I'm saying he would give you some bullshit though, like, oh, I'm sorry, it's swiped, like I can't reverse it, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And he acts like he's trying to save you money, and so you pay cash, so
Well,
he
it
makes
was-
more money.
It was
He's not
all.
even
It
gonna
was
claim
all.
it.
It was all part of his plan, though. Pay cash. I'm going to save you money, and you're there in person. So he's hoping that you're feeling obligated to pay the price.
Well, and you're
he
also
knows that I didn't have anything to do with it.
And-
And I didn't know, you know.
and it's peak season, so like you're not finding another hotel room if it wasn't booked out, like months prior. Like odds are you're not going to find anywhere.
It's like what car salesmen do. You get there, you like the car, then when it comes down to signing paper, all of a sudden they hit you with all these charges, and it's like you're already invested emotionally into this car, so they're going to hope that you just go along with the process.
They put a transport fee on cars. Like,
And it's
when
like,
you go to
dude, it's
sign-
in the parking lot.
It's like motherfucker, like it's already here. I'm not paying for that shit.
They hit you with all these fucking fees, and it's like you're already invested in this car. It's like, what do? Walk away? Like we went through this whole process already. It's been a couple days. Like now you're here on the final day to sign and take the car. Now we're gonna hit you with all these fees and tell you, oh yeah, well your monthly payment's not $300. It's like $390, and like most people aren't gonna walk away and be like, oh, all right, I really like
They
the car.
invested all that time.
Correct.
With the car salesman, like there's an episode of Seinfeld with George, and he's fucking like, he's like, I got this. He goes, there's nothing these salesmen fear more than the threat of the walk away. So they walk into a dealership, literally step foot, guy, hey, how can I help you? Like, I'll walk out of here right now.
I got a boy, bro. He beats the car salesmen over their head.
Dude, Taylor's dad does that to the point where when she went and got her Jeep, it was uncomfortable. This guy, the general manager, he ended up being a customer of Toast, had the nicest things to say about Toast and Taylor. It was just us two. Next day, her dad comes in. Bro, the guy loved us. The second day, like when her parents came there, it was fucking, I couldn't wait to get out of there.
Yeah.
It got tense in there.
But did the dad put work in?
Yeah, he was being ridiculous. Like they wanted us to finance through them, obviously, because they get kickbacks from the banks and whatnot. And her dad's like, no, like I'm going through like Teachers Federal, like they give me the best rates. Like I have this rate right here. This is what they're gonna give me.
You know what you can do?
And they're like, we might even beat it. That's what.
Just go through them and then cancel it. Go and then go to teachers.
Yeah, like refi through them. Yeah, you could do that. But I don't, whatever the fuck it was. But the guy's like saying how like, yeah, I just have to run your credit. Her dad's like, I have an 815 credit score. You run my credit, it goes down to an 806. Then what? And I'm like, dude, that's fucking ridiculous. That's like a ridiculous statement to say. Like if you're over 800, like you're getting
anything you want.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
My buddy goes around and he'll find the car that he likes and he'll shop for like weeks and get different prices and then go to the spot like that he likes the color or whatever. and he'll just use all the numbers that he like accumulated over like looking for this car. And there was one story where like he went there, he had a set monthly payment, he had a price he wanted to pay. They weren't giving him the price, and he's just like, all right, man, listen, like so and so up the block has a better deal. I'm just gonna go to them. And they're like, all right, let me see what I could do. Comes back. He's like, all right, we'll give you this price a month. He's like, that's still not the number I'm looking for, man. Like, listen, I'm going to walk. I'm out of here. You're wasting my time. And then finally, like, all right, you won. You won, all right? You got what you wanted. You happy? Like, the salesman's yelling at my buddy, and he's like, yeah, I'm happy now. I'm happy.
Let's sign. He puts his hand out to, like, shake his hand. You got yourself a deal.
Yeah, dude.
Put her there, partner.
He's always been that way with cars, bro. He's always got
it's
sick
smart.
deals.
People, like, a lot of people just, like, want to get in the new car. And, like, some people go in there, like, desperate.
You just got to have the stamina to stay in the fight.
That's exactly it. That's what he
it
always
is.
says, man. You have to be persistent, and you have to have the will to haggle. The price isn't always set. That's not the price.
No,
you know?
it's flexible.
That's what they want.
Shit.
Right.
Yeah.
And
that's ideal.
And this motherfucker grew up going to a T's flea market where a price of jeans was $50, but you could get them down to 20 if you tried hard enough.
Dude, that's so fun. I didn't even know you could do that. I went into like this place in Islandia for like sneakers, and I saw the price was like $70 or whatever. And my friend's like, no, we're not paying that. And like we chewed him down to like some weird number. It was like $59 or something.
He's big on if you don't ask, you'll never know.
Yeah,
right.
True.
When I was looking for the grease, kid.
Yeah, squeaky wheel does get the grease, bro.
When I was looking for my truck, I was at, I think it was Riverhead Toyota. We went in. The guy's like, "Oh, so what do you want to pay?" I'm like, "Ideally, nothing."
If I'm being completely honest,
I'm like,
with
if I'm
sir?
gonna sit here and be honest with you. So he's like, whatever it was. I think I said like between $200 and $300 a month. You know, it was like I was like right out of high school. He's like, all right. He's like, yeah. He's like, let me see what I can do. Goes in the back, fucking jerks off for a little bit, comes back. And he's like, yeah. He's like, we got Toyota Tacoma. He's like, you're looking at $450 a month.
Like, buddy, that's like double what I was.
That's like,
about.
yeah. So that's what I said to him. I'm like, dude, are you fucking retarded? and my dad.
And for the listeners, if you don't know Remy, which you probably don't,
I feel like he actually said that.
He actually said that.
100%.
I've seen Remy go ham on security guards, motherfuckers putting citronella oil on themselves as like a cologne and shit. So the motherfucker really said that shit.
Yeah, that's what I said to him. He comes down. He's like, yeah, $450. I'm like, are you fucking retarded? And he looks at me and he's like, what? I'm like, what? I'm like, that's literally double than what I fucking told you.
Yeah.
And he was like, all right, let me go see what I can do. He comes back. He's like, $425. I'm like, my dad's sitting there. I'm like, let's get the fuck out of here. This guy's a fucking idiot. And then he's like,
how's your dad in those situations? Is he like you? Does he have a bit of a temper and fucking
a little bit? But then when I do it, he gets all like
embarrassed.
Like, yeah. He's like, Brand, it's okay when I do it, but you can't be doing that.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, but I was just like, yo, let's go. I walked right out, and the guy's like, wait. He's like, we could work. I'm like, no, you're a fucking idiot. I'm like, see you later.
Yeah, he's
That's
not even
hilarious.
close.
Yeah. I'm like, how do you come in and
What
literally
was it?
double?
Was it a were you trying to lease or
No, it
you
was
were trying to
finance?
Oh,
Finance.
Yeah.
Damn, that's hefty.
That's hefty.
$450 for a used taco.
Yeah.
I mean, I
And
know
it was
they
like an older one.
they hold their value.
Called it a taco.
That's
Yeah.
what they're called.
I know.
And he said, and he said when they put the soft top on it, it's called a soft
Soft
taco.
taco.
Yeah, it's so funny.
or a hard taco. If you
Dude,
got a hard-
Rick's got a badass one, and so does Ryan from Freedom.
Yeah, Lisa's wrapped his fender flares.
Ryan?
Oh, really?
Or
Rick.
Oh,
Rick,
that's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, black. Like
Sweet.
vinyl wrapped them and shit.
Yeah.
It came out
What, her
nice.
shop does it, or she
Yeah.
did it?
No, her shop.
Oh.
She fucking went ham on the guy there, though. She's like, she prepped him. She's like, listen, this is a good friend of mine. You better do fucking a pristine job. And if it's not good, you're going to fucking redo it. So the truck comes out. It's all ready. She looks at it. She goes to the kitchen. She's like, are you fucking kidding me? He's like, what? She's like, this is my good friend. She's like, rip that all off and do it again. He's like, really? She's like, rip it all off and do it again. She calls up Rick. She's like, it's going to be ready tomorrow. Sorry. Pistol,
You gotta love Lisa for that.
Pistol Pete, bro. She takes no shit.
Yeah.
She takes no shit, bro.
That's so funny. What was wrong? There's bubbles in it?
Yeah, I mean, like, we know that Rick is very meticulous, right?
Yeah.
He's very, like, right? Right? And so is Lisa. And if it's somebody that she cares about, anybody in our group, you guys, something's getting done at the shop, like, it's going to come out to her satisfaction.
Yeah, and if you're paying for something like that particular, like, you're obviously going to look at it. Like, it's not like it's just like, oh, that's cool. Like, it was an option, and if they do it, they do it. Like, he went out of his way to get him wrapped, so, like, he's going to...
Yeah, and it's a close friend to her. Like, she like, values Rick's, presence. She likes Rick as a person, so it's like she wants to give him the best possible product. Yeah. She would have done the same thing for you guys,
Speaking of Rick and his meticulousness, I got to give him a shout out because he was a part of one of the dope gifts that Alexa got me. Yep. She wanted to get me some custom-made gloves, and apparently Rick was a huge part of the process. Like,
just Rick
designing. Damn, son, can I get the words out?
Whatever, bro.
This motherfucker. I walk in with the gloves to give him props and say thank you, and he's got to do this to me.
I didn't realize it said D-Rock on them too. These are badass.
Yeah, so
I
Rick
like this
was
design.
a big part in helping design the gloves. So was Nick. Yo,
Yeah,
Nick.
Nick's out, dude.
Nick, white sand.
We lost him.
Nick, white sand. But yeah, he designed some real dope gloves. Like designed them, the colors, and like getting my name on it. It came out super, super, super dope. And Nick helped too. So thank you, Rick. Shit was dope. And Alexa was telling me like he was struggling for months. Like I guess they planned this out months ago, and he was like, "Yo, I almost slip and bring it up every single time I see him." But dude, so we what is he doing?
You see how dark the drink he's getting is?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mud Boy. Can I have a Mud Boy too, please?
So last night we're out Montauk, whatever, and a friend of ours is an officer of the law, so I got to see him for a little bit, which was fun. And
I'm back.
we were bored at the end of the night. It was like 11:30, so I texted my buddy and he met us, and we're like, "Yo, what are you doing?" We were gonna go into town and people watch.
Now, listen, that's my favorite thing to do, by the way,
it's the
D-Rock.
best.
I love people
great.
watching.
So he's like, "Yo, I'm actually gonna go ahead into town." He's like, "I'll show you where I park. We'll hang a little bit." So we roll in, we park, and there's a pizza joint. What's it called? John's
Pizza.
Nick's.
Nick's Pizza.
Is it Nick's?
Something like that.
It's right next.
It's on the corner.
Little Caesars.
Why'd my mic go out?
No, you're good.
You're still live.
You're back, baby.
Maybe your headphones,
my headphones went out.
Yeah, hold on.
Just push it back in.
Which ones are you?
All right, there we go. We're good. So we park and we're walking. We park just behind Nick's Pizza, and Eddie, our friend, parked across.
Eduardo Gomez, number 143727.
He parked across the street, whatever. So I was like about to text him and be like, "Oh shit, did a call come in or something like that?" And all of a sudden, Alexa's like, "Dave, there's a fucking brawl breaking out." And we look across the street, dude, and they're just meleeing in the fucking in front of Nick's Pizza, dude. There was a line like I don't know, 40, 50 people deep. And you just see people just scrapping
On the pizza line?
on the pizza
Oh,
line.
I guess someone cut somebody.
Tables falling over and shit. And like it was
They got
probably
that
like
late night slice, I think.
yeah, dude, it was probably like 9, 10 people fighting. And we hear like he's a 16-year-old kid. He's a 16-year-old kid. And the kid follows the guy, I guess, who he's fighting with. It's like, "I'm fucking 16," and hits him with the 3-piece in the soda, dude.
Oh.
And then his fucking parents come. The kid's parents drag him across the street. They're like, we gotta go. Mom, dad, sister.
Like the 16-year-old that got pieced up, got picked up, like
no,
peeled
the
up the pavement.
16-year-old kid was piecing up the kid who hit him.
Oh, really?
It was like a grown-ass man, like a fucking 35-year-old man who would sucker punch a 16-year-old, apparently.
Oh, damn.
And we're like, dude, what the fuck? Like, literally, I mean, dude, we had just got out of the car. I'm like, this is perfect fucking timing. Like, we came down here for this.
This
It
is what
happened
we
immediately.
came down for.
This
And
is
then-
the content we're here
Yeah.
for.
So then we go across the street. We're hanging, and dude, there's just drunks walking by. People are trying to stop at the gas station that's closed, fill up their cars and shit. Dude, this guy pulls up in a fucking Porsche, leaves the car running, and just gets out and walks away.
What time of the night was this? Late?
It was like 11:30, 12 o'clock.
Wow, yeah.
Just leaves it running.
It usually gets crazy around that.
Yeah.
11 to like 2, dude. It's bonkers out there.
Dude, I saw some guy out there one night in a Porsche. Same thing in a Porsche. Dude, hop up on a curb and his car was teeter-tottering.
Oh yes, that's
And-
great.
And he got out and he was fucking hammered.
That's awesome. D-Rock, you checked out Camp Hero, right?
Yeah.
How dope is that? It's pretty cool,
Dope.
right?
Yeah.
Camp Heroes is the best.
Did
And,
you get to see the satellite?
Yeah.
You got close to that too.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucking sick.
We went out to the Bluffs, too, which was dope.
How awesome are
Bluffs is
those?
nice.
Bluffs are sick. Yo, so I'll get to that in a second, but I got to tell you one other awesome story. We're sitting at the gas station, right? And, dude, it's like the drunk train, the midnight hoe train. Everybody's walking by. And these kids are trying to go into the gas station convenience store. This dude and his girlfriend or whatever. The girlfriend's mangled, bro. Mangled. And so our buddy's like, yo, it's closed, blah, blah. The guy's like, I just want to get some Zins. I need Zins.
I'm in.
Oh.
And I didn't hear him.
Yo, that guy gets it.
Yeah. So Alexa's like, he said he wants Zins. So he comes walking back, and I pull out my Zins. I'm like, I got you, bro. He's like, what? I'm like, here. And he's like, fuck Zins. And he turns to his girlfriend. He's like, this is exactly what I was looking for. And he like takes the Zin. He's like, bro, you just made my night. He's like, you guys, you're terrific. He's like, you guys have a great night.
You're terrific.
And Alexa's like, you just made that guy's whole day. I'm like, I know.
Yo, sometimes you need a lipper, bro.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do.
So, yeah, we went to Camp Hero. we drove out to the bluffs and
hold on, wait. So in Camp Hero, did you guys actually like drive around Camp Hero?
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
awesome, right?
It's dope.
You see that gymnasium? I'm sorry, not gym. It was a base that was masked as a church. Did you see that?
Yeah. We drove through everything. It showed us like the old munitions bases, like the tunnels and everything.
I got to do that. I haven't done that.
Dude,
I've been to Montauk so many times.
We'll go out to Montauk. We'll bring the e-bikes because you could take the e-bikes through there.
That's awesome.
Dude,
I heard it's
come
creepy. Eddie said it.
I'll
Eddie
be
said
there
it gets
in 2
creepy
weeks.
there at night.
No, maybe at night it's creepy, but not during
he was like
we
he
were
was
there at
sleeping
sunset,
there.
so it was a little creepy.
Oh, that's cool.
Eddie
creepy.
was like sleeping there.
It was
he showed us.
creepy
It was
as
horrible.
fuck.
He showed us the barracks. But so we drive out to the bluffs, dude, and there's like 3 people like with a blanket and shit, and we pull up, and no, they were shook.
Oh, I thought they were fucking.
No, they were shook. They're like, and he gets out of the car. He's like, "You guys are fine. You guys are fine."
Why
Like,
are you not supposed to be in there?
I guess you can be, but they thought they weren't supposed to be.
Yeah, maybe they were doing something
and they
wrong
see a
with the-
cop car roll up.
Yeah.
You know,
Smoking a joint.
and then we get
Ooh.
out. And we're taking pictures on the bluffs and shit like
Yeah.
tourists. And the one girl that was there, dude, her hands were shaking. She was so nervous.
Oh my god.
And then like we're taking pictures, and she's looking at us like, "What the fuck is going on right now? Like,
Yeah.
what are the cops doing?" We're like, "Hey, can you take a picture of us? We're taking pictures on the bluffs."
That satellite is supposed to be like, I think it's only like 2 stories high, like above ground, but underground it goes like a shit ton more stories.
Yeah,
I feel like I heard that.
Yeah.
So Camp Hero used to be a military installation during World War II.
Yeah, like air base or some shit, or no?
So I don't know if anybody's ever heard of the Montauk Project.
Yeah.
So that's supposedly where this took place, where they're experimenting on
Locals.
the atom bomb.
Oh,
Right, there was development like Oppenheimer and Einstein, development of the atom bomb, and supposedly they were doing time travel experiments.
yeah, and also,
Stranger Things.
well, Stranger
Stranger
Things is based on
it.
that, but supposedly
They're shot there.
they were kidnapping locals out there and doing tests on them, just like that girl 11.
Really?
What was
Yeah.
that called? Where like you could like use your brain.
Telekinesis.
They were trying to duplicate that because somehow Russia leaked that they had those kind of like those kind of I guess whatever. They were able to do that. So they were like, "Oh, we're going to try to duplicate that here in America." So they were like kidnapping locals and doing the same shit, holding people in the water, like trying to get them to.
There's a famous story related to the Montauk Project that they were doing teleportation and time travel stuff, and supposedly they were successful with it. And there was people on a Navy ship that were unaware they were part of this test, and supposedly they transported them through time. And when they came back, there was people stuck in the walls of the ship.
Oh shit!
So part of time travel, there's like matter displacement, right? You have to displace the matter to transport it, and when they fucked it up, so when they came back, they were stuck in walls and shit. Supposedly,
That's fucking nuts, dude.
There's books written on it. There's a book called "Behold the Pale Horse,"
Okay.
and that book is written and based off of all these supposed experiments that took place. And supposedly, they traveled through time at the Montauk Project, and they went to the future, and it was like 2033 or some shit like that, supposedly, that they said there's no foreseeable future past that date, that all they saw was like the sky blacked out like from, nuclear war, and a giant white horse with a clock on it. And it was the year 2033 or something like that, and like all life had basically come to an end.
Fuck.
Now,
I mean, listen.
how true that is, whatever, but that's like the folklore behind all
I don't know though. Like the fucking way that the world's going
Seems
today,
like it.
though. Yeah, it's not really far fetched. All this vaccination shit and everything else going on.
Yeah.
Oh, they're saying that they're gonna fine NFL players if they get COVID and they're not vaccinated, and it leads to an outbreak. Like they're gonna not suspend them without play. They're basically
forfeit.
It's gonna be a forfeit, and they're not gonna get paid.
One of the coaches, the
Minnesota
offensive
Vikings.
line coach of the Vikings, refused the vaccine and lost his job.
Yeah.
And there's a guy, DeAndre Hopkins, and he came out like outright saying that like it's making him question his future in the NFL with these mandatory.
I wonder if it's kosher for jobs or employers to fire their employees because they don't make a decision to take a vaccination. I wonder if that
wild.
shit's.
Well, that's
legal.
what's going on
like
in
that
France.
shouldn't be legal, but
Well, what's going on with
Definitely
France?
shouldn't be
You can't
legal.
even go to a restaurant or a bar or anything without showing proof of vaccination. If you're a nurse and you're not vaccinated by August 1st, they're saying that you no longer have a job.
Yeah. See,
That's
my thing
crazy.
is, I've been saying this for a while now. The vaccination is obviously about like health and safety of the humans in general. So if health and safety was the main idea here, driving the horse, then Why don't we get rid of cigarettes? Why don't we get rid of alcohol?
That's like what Canada does. They have like crazy taxes.
Well, I heard Canada's crazy right now anyway. But what I'm saying is, like, why aren't we doing that? If the vaccination is about safety and health, why are we not getting rid of the other bullshit in this world that's causing people to die?
All the garbage, like fast food.
Yeah,
and
fast food, cigarettes. Why are we not giving chemo for free? Why are we still allowing people to drink? Alcohol is like horrible for you.
Yeah.
And on top of it, drinking and driving.
Yeah.
You're not only like putting yourself in danger, but you're putting people who aren't even drinking in danger.
They said, I think in London or Britain or whatever, there was twice as many like suicides during the lockdown as there were deaths from COVID.
Wow. That's fucking bananas, dude.
That's crazy.
And then like it's so funny, like Johnson & Johnson, they're like fucking got the vaccine to kill like the most dangerous virus ever, and it's gonna work so good they can't even get sunscreen right. They had to recall their sunscreen this week because it's causing cancer. But you're gonna fucking kill this pandemic, and you can't even get sunscreen right.
Holy
Sunscreen's been around
shit.
for fucking 200 years.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude. All right, we got a guest calling in.
Yeah.
This is Remy's boy, right?
Phone a friend.
Yeah. Give us a little rundown while we're calling him, Rem.
So this is Junior Leoso. He owns Pacific Beach Training, one of the gym I went out to in California.
Nice.
He's a purple belt, I believe. Trains. He's the one who got the Jiu Jitsu started at their gym.
Oh, sick.
Who's he training
under? Shit, what's the guy's name?
Terrence Carr.
Coach Terry Carr.
Terry G.
Mac is so confused by that. He was like, Coach Terry? Ding, 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 ding.
Let's hope he picks up.
Yo, bro.
Hey, Junior, what's up? Can you hear us?
What's up, my guy? Yeah, can you hear me?
Hey,
Yeah,
Junior,
we're
what's
good.
going on? You're live on Jits and Tits, bro.
What a way to wake up. I'll take it.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. You chilling with the boys today. What's going on? How's your day?
Man, the day's literally just started 4:45 a.m. here on Maui, Hawaii.
Oh, my God.
You're the first people I'm talking to.
Dude,
Oh.
it's a privilege,
Yeah.
man. Thanks for waking
Yeah,
up and
thank
chilling
you.
with us for a little bit.
Yeah, that's dedication, man. I appreciate that. I thought I got up early to make the podcast.
Damn.
To be facts.
Yee.
So you want to go ahead and give him a little background about yourself? I told him about Pacific Beach and all that.
Yeah, for sure, man. So my name's Junior. I'm actually originally from Hawaii, from Maui myself. For most of my adult life, I've been in the fitness business. I've owned and operated almost 6 separate facilities by now. I love martial arts. Martial arts has been a part of my life since I was a child. I love Jiu Jitsu. So this is a super fun titled podcast to be on. Yeah, man, that's pretty much it. Simple dude, family man. I like fitness. I like martial arts. I like chatting about fitness and martial arts.
Awesome. Awesome.
How do you feel about tits?
I was sitting here thinking to myself, okay, I think my 6-year-old is going to listen to this at some point, so I might as well just get it out of the way. I mean, yeah, man. When it comes to Jits and Tits, if anybody knows me, man, I'm fucking with the best on both ends. That's for sure.
Nice. So, Junior, how long you been training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for?
Jiu-Jitsu now, I'd say about 6-7 years now.
And who do you train under?
I train under Shanji Hiberu, and my sensei is Leo Santos.
Nice.
Oh, that's a solid lineage right there.
Oh, yeah, man. Very lucky. I was
Zanji's a
blessed.
legend.
Oh man, I mean, yeah, that goes without saying, man. And one of his students happened to be a college football teammate of mine back once upon a time. And when the football days were over, I was reaching back out to my boy Leo. And he'd always throughout the years during the young days, the early 2000s, mid 2000s, he'd always be telling me, "Man, Junior, you got to get into jiu-jitsu, bro." And I was always thinking to myself, I'm not putting on that thing and rolling around. Yeah, right. Then by the time I got to my 30s, I started looking around. I'd start seeing my boy Leo in the magazines, and I'd see him on the internet. And by the time, I don't know what year it was, but whatever year it was, he was a high-level black belt. And, I had taken probably 3 classes. And it came full circle, man. I'd been done playing ball. I was sitting in San Diego looking for something to do. And, I got bit by the bug. I was in the right place at the right time, surrounded by the right people. And I think in about 2000, yeah, 2015 probably, I started going real seriously. Before that, I wrestled in high school. I'd actually done a few grappling tournaments up in Oregon, but never studied Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu truly and truthfully. And but yeah, man, lucky, blessed. I'm a purple belt nowadays. Feels good.
Okay.
I love the guys I train with, and being in Jiu-Jitsu, as you guys both know, it's another bridge connector, right? It's kind of like fitness. It's like you go somewhere, you can go somewhere and meet people who train, or you can go somewhere to train.
Yeah.
So now, like, between us three guys, we can all hop on a plane and go to some seminar, and we're instantly got 50 friends. We got 50 homies in some city.
Yo, it's so true too. And I feel like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is really the only sport that opens that up. Like football, baseball. Like, oh yeah, you play baseball. That connection, that bond, isn't instantly there right away.
No, I feel like other sports, it can be there, but only if you all played at a certain level. Like if you were like, oh, you were a college athlete, like oh, me
D1,
too. Like you share that because it was a high level jiu-jitsu. Doesn't matter what you are. Like, oh, dude, you do jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
Sick. Like, and the fact that you train together, so it's a very close personal bond. If you ever trained, I always say the reason why I think jiu-jitsu is great is because you, like you said, you could walk into a gym. We could never have met before, and it's like, oh, you need a partner? Cool. Hey, what's up, man? I'm Dave. Oh, I'm Junior. Slap hands. We get in each other's grill for 5 minutes. We hash that out, and at the end of class, when we sit and talk, all that bullshit's removed. Now I'm talking to the real you. You're talking to the real me, because we already hashed out all that macho bullshit already. We got that sorted out. So now it's like, now I talk to the real you, and you talk to the real me. Whereas, like, sometimes you meet people out in a social situation, you might have to meet that person 5 or 6 times before you kind of really get a feel for them. That doesn't happen in jiu-jitsu, and that's what makes it so unique.
Yeah, 100%.
Bro, that's such a great point, man. I never actually thought about it that way, but you're absolutely right.
Even when I went out to San Diego, like I went to a couple different gyms there, and like as soon as I was there, like everybody was super accommodating, like super respectful, nice. Of course you get your assholes here and there, but for the most part, 99%.
Well, the asshole was you, though. So,
Junior, you gotta
Remy keeps forgetting that there's one asshole in every building. He's like, I never found the guy once.
No, that's so funny. You have a preference, Junior? What you like to do? Is it gi or no gi? You have a preference? You love them both?
Man, I would say off the cuff, once upon a time, I would say I like them both. But, as a 40-year-old man nowadays, and maybe it's because of the guys that I train with Shanji and Gustavo Diaz, Sensei Saulo Ribeiro, and Leo, I think that the gi has become so much more traditional for me, at this age, after all the however many tournaments we've done and however many matches we've competed in, when it's all settled, when it's all done, I think jiu-jitsu is super beautiful because of tradition. And I think that about most martial arts, whether you do karate or Muay Thai, I think sometimes the martial art gets overcast by competition and athleticism, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of super badasses in the world, man. There's a lot of white belts who can kick my ass on the street. But I think we forget that that's not the reason we're doing the martial arts in the beginning, right? We always sign up our kids or we sign up ourselves for martial arts because we want to have discipline. We want to be able to defend ourselves, and we want to feel good and feel empowered. And 30 days into our free trial, we're like wearing fucking badass shirts and telling everybody what chokes we know. And it's like, we kind of forgot what we were doing, So the short answer is I really love the gi these days because it kind of, not so much about the techniques, but it reminds me of the tradition, It kind of like hones it in. And I don't know about, very many other gyms. I've visited plenty, you typically in our circle, but our school is super heavy on tradition and it's super traditional. And I feel like maybe that's why it kind of gravitates towards the gi style for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love schools that keep it very traditional. The bow in, the bow out,
Yeah.
I grew up going to a school where the instructor, if you were 5 minutes late, you had to bow in on the mat. And if you didn't make eye contact with him and bow in, like you couldn't step on the mat. And he would deliberately keep his back at you just so you would have to sit there longer looking like an idiot while everyone else is doing technique or doing the warm up. And you just sat there, and you're like, "Damn, is he gonna look at me so I can bow in?" And like 5-10 minutes would go by, and he'd eventually look over at you and let you come on the mat.
You also couldn't, if you were sitting down when he was doing instruction and your legs weren't crossed.
Yes,
he'd air you out.
Yeah,
right.
You couldn't sit
Right.
with a posture that looked like you weren't paying attention.
Right, man. It's not, it's not lounging time. There's a certain gravity that comes with respect, and on the level of respect, I'm a Samoan guy, grew up in Hawaii, right? Respect is everything, man. It doesn't matter if it's your blood relative or just an elderly person in the store. You could get it from anybody, bro. It's some lady in the grocery store could smack you in the head if you're looking sideways, because our whole culture is based on respect.
yeah,
And I think in martial arts, once you lose the tradition of here's my hierarchy, just like in business and in life, everything's askew, right? The boats that fail in the ocean aren't the ones with the least equipment and the least amount of armor. It's the ones that have the least amount of structure. Those are the ones that crumble.
that's a good
And
point.
I think the same thing goes for martial arts schools, man. I mean, look at any pro sport. All pro sports teams got the baddest motherfuckers in the world, right? Every NFL team stacked. What's the difference between, I hate to say it, but the Patriots and, I don't know, the Cincinnati Bengals?
Structure,
It ain't fast and strong guys, right? It's structure, bro. It's the guy at the top who never wavers.
Yeah, it's
He'll cut
Tom
your ass if
Brady.
you've been a 10 Pro Bowl.
Tom Brady's the guy who comes in and he puts that, like you said, he puts that
Right.
structure and hierarchy in place. He's the top dog, and you're going to fall in line to his standards. Same thing with that's what
Right,
Kobe
exactly.
and Jordan were. If you didn't meet their
Oh, yeah.
standards, that's it. You weren't
Right,
hacking it. And what you just said
Uh-huh.
is what relates back to my point. I think about how you could be strangers, but the first thing you do is get in each other's face. You sort that hierarchy out right away. There's no guessing about
Amen.
hey, where do I stand in the for lack of a better word, pecking order? If we just met,
Sure.
we roll. We both know where we stand with each other. So now we don't have to
Right.
posture anymore. So when we talk, it's just real. It's not I'm not trying to posture to make you think I can get over on you or vice versa. We already know.
Right.
Yeah, and I think the respect
Right.
I think the respect thing comes into play too, because
100%.
you're both standing in front of each other. You know what training sessions are all about. You know the dedication and sacrifice it takes to get to the level that you are.
Right.
So even before
Right.
that, standing in front of somebody, you earn that respect right off the bat.
Right. And when you listen, man, you
Oh,
might
yeah.
roll with somebody and they might get the better of you, but that guy respects you because they know what you're made of. Yo, maybe I
Right.
have more time on the mat, more skill than this guy, but this guy showed heart.
Yes.
I like what he's made of, and vice versa. So
Yeah.
you have that respect also. Even though you establish that hierarchy, that respect comes in. This dude came and he scrapped. He's good. I respect that. He didn't
stepped
quit.
He stepped on the mat.
Yeah, and
you know?
he didn't quit in our role. He could have maybe tapped to this, or he could have given this up, but he didn't.
Yeah, it's true.
So you know what each other's made of.
That's facts.
It do be facts though.
Do be
Yeah, and
facts,
it's even
bro.
just with the, even with the gi and the belt ranking system, man, there is something to be said when you see a guy roughly your age and he's the same belt as you. There's something in your heart that's like, yeah, respect to that too, because I know how whack this shit can be sometimes, man. Like showing up for training,
Yeah,
sometimes we're getting up, we're over here, and we're like, as a 40-year-old guy, there is always that quote unquote once upon a time mentality. Like I'll be looking at some of these 25-year-old kids like, bro, once upon a time I could have mashed you.
Yeah.
But now, these guys are so fast and they're so agile and their technique is so clean. It's like, man, mad respect to these youngsters that are coming up, man.
Oh,
mad
yeah,
respect
they're all
to the
getting-
40-year-old dogs who's just going
Well,
up.
They're all getting so good.
It goes both ways, man. When I started, I was 22, and I'm kicking 40's door down now myself. And some of these guys now, the younger guys that I train with, they're still like, yo, man, you're still doing it at your age. I hope I'm doing it when I'm your age. I hope I'm in the shape that you're in. I hope
And you're
I'm still doing it.
good.
What's that?
I said, and you're still pretty good.
I'm all right, but it's that respect is a two-way street. I look at these kids, I'm like, yo, these motherfuckers are trying to get after it, and they look at you and they're like, yo, this guy's still getting after it.
Yeah.
And I have that too. I have guys like Spiro, who's just turned 50, and he's still a dog,
Oh
man.
my God, he's a tank.
The guy did fucking for his 50th birthday. He did 53-minute rolls for his 50th birthday. Like, yo, you're a savage,
Yeah.
so that respect goes
That's
both ways.
the next level.
He got a savage suit for sure.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
But even these young kids still
That
get it
is
though.
next level.
They still get it.
Hey,
Wow,
Junior,
bro.
how did you
Yeah.
and Remy connect?
So I got lucky enough to meet Remy because Remy is now a certified landmine university coach. Super pumped about that part of our whole life. But yeah, Remy came to San Diego and put in the time with us on a 3-day course, man. And so he's out there sharing the mission on the landmine as well.
I'll actually be down in Boca with you guys.
Man, that is going to be – I'm stoked for that one, man.
I can't wait. That's going to be sick. For you guys who don't know, Phil DeRue, we're going to his gym. And,
nice.
And doing some landmine.
That's dope.
Certification.
Man, it's going to be wild because, you know, before this whole thing started, you know, as many of these stories do, we sat in my front yard and I was talking with Coach Alex Canellis, which, by the way, I think is probably the most prolific coach of the day and age right now. There's something super special about guys who are dedicated to their craft and anything. And this dude is dedicated for sure. But there's also something very special about people who are creative. You know, I've been in the fitness space. Well, it doesn't matter how long I've been in there. You guys can just look at the history books and think of how many quote unquote new functional things have ever been implemented into the weight room.
Yeah, that's true.
Now you could talk about equipment. You could talk about training styles. Man, the same bench, squat, deadlift has been happening since the 70s. And in the sports world specifically, we haven't done anything to address the injury issues when it comes to powerlifting in speed sports. For example, a basketball player does not need to be a good Olympic lifter or a good power lifter. But for some reason, we keep shoving it down their throats and they keep getting stronger and then they keep getting injured.
Yeah.
And for 15, 20 years, it's been on the top of the discussion chart on university campuses everywhere. And when I met Alex Canellis, he had this crazy idea to start using Olympic tempo lifts with what I would say is a much better and safer positioning to get under a barbell. And my mind was just blown, bro. It was just blown. I'm like, bro, you're going to change the world. You're going to change the way every university teaches their football program how to lift, because coaches and strength coaches are sick and tired of having their kids have tight knees, blow out hamstrings, have torn pecs because they're too tight and too strong in the weight room. And about a year and a half ago, we were sitting around and I said, bro, I have a feeling that in the next 2 to 3 years, you're going to be the most popular strength coach on the planet Earth. And I could be wrong because I think it's going to happen like by next summer.
Yeah,
this dude went from teaching. Yeah, he went from teaching like in his house in local gyms in San Diego to he's going to be teaching a clinic to what's arguably, with Phil DeRue, arguably the biggest name in strength and conditioning in the fight world, bro.
Oh yeah.
See, this Phil DeRue is the man.
It's always like boggled my mind like how sports in general are so different, but yet people still work out the same way, like they were just trying to get fit. Like I look at Gordon Ryan and Hey Sonny, right? Like his workout regimen is pretty much like a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
And it's like none of these movements, none of these movements that you're doing with Hey Sonny like are really going to apply in your jiu-jitsu matches.
Right, yeah, you're going to be strong, but not the same kind of strength.
Right. You'll be strong, but you're not going to have the strength.
Right.
You see that in guys that, you know, there's always the good thing about jiu-jitsu. There's variety in the builds and games of people. And you see, like myself, man, when I first started, I was a football player. I was 230 pounds and like muscle bound and not built for jiu-jitsu, you know?
Yeah.
And I had to drastically change what I did. I stopped lifting immediately because I knew it didn't work. And I went to box, and my boxing coach was like, come talk to me in 6 months and don't look at weights because you can't jab because you're too muscle bound. And, that's a true story too. The guy literally told me, don't even look at a weight. He's like, if you're serious, come talk to me in 6 months. And that's what I did. And, you know, you see guys in the gyms, or one of my old gyms in particular, there was a CrossFit gym inside of it. And you would get some of the crossover times. You'd have some of the CrossFit guys come and you see what they do in the CrossFit and they look crazy strong and athletic. And then you expect them to be super strong and you get them in certain positions in jiu-jitsu. And it's like, man, that strength doesn't necessarily transfer over.
It never does.
Yeah. You know, it's a completely different strength. And obviously, you know, the technique behind it as well, which helps mitigate some of the size and strength. But you see guys that rely on that and your mind can be blown, especially if you're newer to the sport. You roll with some big jack dude and you're like, yo, how did I just do that to this guy? I thought they were going to be so strong.
All show and no go, like
Yeah.
my man Terry G likes to say.
Although I have to
It
say,
is, bro. It's like,
there was one time that I had my mind blown. There's this kid, Kevin Callender. He's a freak athlete, and he
What a last name, dude. Calendar?
yeah, he was a stud football player. He like made it to the last round of cuts for the Jets at one point in time, and I remember the first time I ever rolled with him. He was like brand new, and I'm like, big Jack guy, whatever. You know, I've seen this movie before. I know how this ends. Wrong. This motherfucker, dude, I had him in side control. He fucking bench pressed me off of him and threw me like 2 feet.
Exactly.
Bro, and that's still to this day, that's never happened. Like most guys, like you said, you know, they're big and strong, but you know how to neutralize them. Dude, to this day, this was like 10 years ago, and I still can't get over that. Dude, he literally bench pressed me.
That's crazy.
Flat on
That's
his
so
back
funny.
and threw me from like his shoulder past his feet. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, equality's not real. We are not the same thing. Like
Yeah.
this motherfucker. Like,
Yeah.
and now he's a fucking purple belt and he's nasty. It's like, dude, that type of athleticism and strength combined with the technique, like,
Oh yeah.
But I feel like if you're a football player, you probably have some of that athleticism, some of that strength that we're talking about. You know, like I feel like you have to.
It is.
Yeah.
Right? Like you have to.
Yeah.
You have to be agile. If, like your offensive line, D line, like you have to be big and agile,
Strong.
right? Quick. So like I think in that situation, like it's one of those situations like where like that guy is probably exactly what we're talking about. You know?
Like deep within him.
Yeah.
You know, it just has to be like polished.
Right.
yeah. Like at the end of the day, size does matter. If skill is equal,
Yes.
size matters.
There
You
has
know
to
what I
be
mean?
there has to be a defining factor
Yeah,
right there.
there's like, all right, perfect example. Last night, the Dillashaw-Sandhagen fight. Sandhagen is super technical, but
5'11".
yeah, he's got crazy, and he was a basketball player. He's got a lot of physical gifts. He's an athlete in his own right, but you could tell TJ was like the more dynamic,
Yeah.
stronger guy. And I think as the rounds went on, you saw that kind of started to matter.
Mhm.
In the beginning, the technique and the sharpness was working for Sandhagen, and especially in those grappling exchanges, he caught TJ slipping and
Yeah.
banged up that knee. But man, the athlete, I think kind of the athlete and Dillashaw and that mindset, I think is what won him that fight.
Yeah.
And that those are like certain intangibles that not everybody has.
Yeah. Junior, did you catch that fight last night?
Yeah, bro. And, you know, we talk about this all the time. One of my partners in crime, one of my trainers, Devin Taylor, aka High Speed, up in San Diego. We like to chat about the fight game. He's an ex-pro fighter himself. We always say, like, guys like TJ, they're almost blessed, and actually, you know, Sam as well. Now that I say that, they're almost blessed with the current system, because you remember back in the day, remember the old school UFC, or even like some of the Pride fights. Remember there was 0 rounds, 0 time.
Yeah.
I would love to see what would happen these days if we did that. Let's just say they did it for a year, because a lot of these guys' bodies now are built for these short sprints, right?
Yep.
These guys are built to go ham for 3 to 5 minutes, quick recovery, and then if whoever's standing in the end of the 3rd or 5th round, you could just let bombs fly, and now you're just kind of throwing caution to the wind. It would be really interesting to see if we made it, quote unquote, more like a, you know, real fight by just eliminating time. Because I think we would start to see what would happen when guys would really have to bide their time. You know, I think there'd be a lot of jiu-jitsu guys would start rising to the top a little bit again. Once upon a time, it was a lot of jiu-jitsu heads at the top of the fight game. And then all of a sudden, some people started learning some jiu-jitsu defense. And then you started really seeing the striker evolve again. And it was really hard to get out of that mold, with a, you know, exception of a couple guys like maybe Damien and for a long time. But the shorter rounds and the time limit really speaks to the striker, and it really speaks to the guys with the mindset like TJ, which is, fuck it, you ain't gonna kill me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm going in. I mean, bro, look at Nate Diaz.
I was gonna say.
I don't know how many fights
I was
he-
waiting for you to finish. I was like, the Diaz brothers would be all about this format.
Yeah.
Well, because Nate
Yeah,
Diaz,
dude,
we've always said it with Nate Diaz.
Undefeated.
He's straight up just coasts at 60%. He never goes 100%.
Yeah.
You know, he glides through fights at 60%, so he doesn't gas out. But like D-Rock's made these points before in previous podcasts, like if you have the cardio and the endurance, your technique is going to stay sharp.
Yeah.
Your technique starts to fail
Right.
when your cardio starts to deplete. You know, so Nate Diaz,
Right.
he knows the game. He understands it's a marathon, so he never goes 100%.
So he runs marathons.
He does run marathons.
But also,
Right.
when you come against a guy that's putting that pace on you from the first round to the 5th round, like he's never slowed down, that starts to break you. And Dillashaw did that last night. Dillashaw had that pressure the whole time. So now you see that third.
And he's a machine, bro. DJ's a machine.
Yeah.
And he had a 2-year layoff.
And he blew his knee out potentially in that first round.
Yeah.
That motherfucker, it's you know, when you have that conditioning, that's what they say, fatigue makes cowards of men.
Yeah.
You know, and
I mean, it is scary to be out there fucking gassed. And it's
Worst
like
feeling in the world.
round 2, round 3, and you still got 2 more rounds.
Yeah.
Like, that's scary as fuck.
You're drowning with fists.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, drowning sucks. Just getting punched in your head to that. It's not fun.
I know we wanted to talk about this, though, but so Dillashaw was suspended for 2 years for Pop and Dirty, right? For
Right.
Oh, yeah.
EPO.
Yeah. So I know we wanted to talk about that a little bit. So, like, how do you guys feel about, like, sport-enhancing drugs? Like,
I don't know. I think that TJ, like, he did his 2-year penalty, and like he should kind of have a clean slate now. Like everybody's
doing the drugs.
Yeah, like
everybody says everybody's on it.
That's what I'm saying. So should we just let the fighters all do whatever the fuck they want?
I think they should. I think that they should just let people. Because look, you're allowed to take creatine. You're allowed to take all these other crazy supplements. Like, not saying creatine is crazy, but like you're allowed to take any fucking supplement basically that is quote unquote approved. But you're not allowed to take steroids that do. I mean, with like technology today, you can get pretty close to like a natural steroid through supplements.
Well, they have peptides too that help with like human growth. Like you can take a peptide and it'll help your body produce more human growth.
Dude, in baseball, they can't even take like pre-workout. Like people have like got suspended for taking like something that came up
that's
in
what they say.
A pre-workout. No, but it was.
I understand the argument for fighting because it's combat. You could hurt people, right?
But everyone's
if they're swinging a fucking wooden stick at a ball. Who cares?
Yeah,
bro? Do all the juice you want. Like, what are we doing? Like,
the steroid era was great for baseball. People just hitting fucking bombs.
And when it comes to fighting and stuff, the way I look at it is, man, USADA's not leveling the playing field. It's actually widening the gap because all the guys at the top have the money to get the designer steroids that they can't test for yet. They know how to stay ahead of the game. The guys at the lower end don't. And they're not willing to risk their career and get a 2-year suspension and torpedo their career with cheating. So you allow the guys at the top to cheat more effectively and the guys at the bottom not to do it at all.
That's a good point, bro.
Right? So it's not actually leveling the playing field.
Yeah, so why don't we just open the door and let everybody do it?
Let everybody do it. Man, all right, you're on this, you're on that. What I would say is, and I understand that there's a hole in my theory here, but there's no perfect solution to anything. So I get that if you put all right, you're allowed to do TRT, you're allowed to do EPO, but we're going to test your levels. You're not allowed to go past a certain point of it. Of course, people will.
Well, they should do a clean test, like a baseline in the beginning, or say when they get hired, or beginning of the year, right? You got your baseline, and then you're allowed a certain percentage up.
Right.
For everything.
Yeah, but then people are still going to fuck with that baseline.
Of course, people are always going to game the system to some degree. Same thing with cutting weight. You know what I'm saying? Like the weight classes are supposed to be there for fairness, but people are going to game that too. If, hey, man, I can cut 30 pounds and you can't, I'll be the bigger guy the next day. There's always going to be some types of gamesmanship to the rules, but, man, I feel like it's almost as close as you're going to get because everyone's going to cheat. They're going to do the drugs anyway. Instead of painting it out like everybody's this liar and fake, like, no, man, level it out as best you can. Let everybody be on it into an acceptable range. Make it like, hey, all right, you went over this range. We're going to bang you for a percentage of your purse like we would if you missed weight.
Yeah.
Rather than suspending people like, all right, hey, man, this guy, he tested for 0.02 or whatever over his testosterone levels. You're forfeiting 20% of your purse now.
Yeah.
Or
just do it like powerlifting and bodybuilding does. You got a natural competition, and then you got a fucking everything.
Ain't nobody natural, bro.
Quote unquote natural.
Except the Diaz bros.
Yeah, that's true. I would highly doubt that they're on anything. You know.
Yeah. I don't know though. Their endurance is good.
You can look at these guys' bodies and just be like, yeah, my man really ain't doing nothing like that.
Well, Anderson Silva. I mean, look at his body. He's not anything crazy, but he popped too for steroids just for the recovery aspect of his broken leg.
Yeah,
you know,
he's also 45 years old too.
Who's it? Logan Paul and him are gonna fight now.
Allegedly,
I think they signed on Logan, one of the Paul brothers.
I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is.
But yo, you go
fuck them, bro.
Talking about people's bodies, the biggest shining example, and they call it the pre and post USADA era. Johnny Hendricks, man, pre-USADA,
Yeah.
that guy was fucking firing missiles at everybody
Yeah.
and blowing them out of their shoes.
Yep.
Post-USADA,
The max plus.
They would look like he was hitting McDonald's every night.
yeah, dude was eating his own steaks. He had that restaurant. But like,
It's wild, man. I mean, like even you guys were talking about the weight cut thing, man. I felt like this for a long time. I don't understand the purpose of the weight cut at the professional level anymore, because what happens is when you talked about widening the gap, which is a phenomenal point, man. I think more people need to understand that portion, that at the top of the food chain, you definitely are widening the gap. When drug use happens in sports like football, which is the biggest money-making sport on the earth, the guys at the big universities have the best stuff, the least chance to get caught, and therefore they have a better chance to make it to the pros. The guys at the bottom of the food chain don't have that kind of bread. They don't have that kind of access. So if they choose to join that world, they're going to use shittier shit. They're probably going to get caught, and they're less likely to succeed in that process. When it comes to weight cutting is the exact same thing. If you have a guy who's got the bread at the lower levels and he can afford to get the IVs and he can afford to get all of the things that's necessary to put on the 25 pounds in hydration weight in one night, that guy has a better chance of succeeding. And I don't understand what the process is anymore to prove that you can make weight. We should only do weigh-ins the day of. That's it.
Yeah,
you should show up, and if you make weight, you're in. If you lose weight, you're still on, but your purse is forfeited a certain percentage or what? There's no sense in a guy coming in two days before a fight and weighing in. What the fuck does that prove?
Yeah,
We're not even fighting today.
Yeah, exactly. I think like they should do something like they do in high school where they take like your body mass index, right?
Yeah, they
And-
have a you have to get certified for a certain weight.
Yeah, and then you could only go down. That's like the lowest weight that you can hit.
one
Yep.
championship is doing something like that.
Yeah, that's
They-
smart.
Yeah, because, man, I remember when I first started doing this shit and explaining to people like, oh, that guy's 155 pounds. No, man, that guy's 155 pounds for 7 seconds.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You get as close
You're right.
to dying as possible. You get on the scale 155, you get off, you got 24 hours. By the time you step in that cage, guy's back up to 170, 175.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like
Look at Max Holloway. He had a fucking crazy weight cut one fight, and then he rehydrated so quickly. His I forgot what it was called, but like his red blood cells swelled up, and some of the side effects of that is I think like nausea, headaches, you're disoriented.
he sounded
yeah.
punch drunk in that one interview.
Yeah, and it's almost like you're concussed, like the way he was speaking and feeling it. But it was just because he rehydrated so fucking
Too
quick.
quick, yeah.
And I forgot there's a term for that where like you
Hypohydration.
is that what it is?
Yeah.
That sounds made up to me.
No, it sounds like it.
Pulling the shit out of his ass now, Rem.
Dude,
Remy just made that up.
No, well, hypo
Hypohydration?
means like fast, and hydration it means like getting hydrated.
Terry,
I'm with
Terry
Remy.
Dictionary over here. Like, I don't know
I'm
what
with
that means.
Remy.
Terry G ain't doing his job. I'm about to do Terry G's job right now.
Yo, Junior, so are you doing any training out in Hawaii?
Oh yeah, man. We're still doing the certification courses. I'll be hosting. I've been doing a lot of the breathwork stuff here for the breath belt. The breath belt to me is probably the most useful tool right now across all borders. And so we've been certifying a lot of the strength coaches out here and doing free clinics for guys that have breath belts. So yeah, man, we're going to get you down here soon. Once this year's done, we're going to put Maui and Honolulu on the Landmine University schedule for next year.
Oh, sweet. I'll be there. Definitely.
Yo, hit him
Oh,
with
yeah.
it, Nick. Hit him with it.
Yeah, it's called water intoxication. It's when you rehydrate.
Damn.
It's when you hydrate too fast and your red blood cells swell up.
Yeah, people die from
Also-
that.
Hypohydration.
Yeah.
Get the fuck
Yeah.
out of my
Look-
face with
look
this.
up- It's also known as water poisoning.
Look up hypohydration.
I am.
This guy just put that on Urban Dictionary.
Yeah,
Remy
it's a disruption.
Remy just added that to Urban Dictionary right
Yeah,
now.
it's a disruption of your brain functions caused by drinking too much water. So that's what happened to Max Holloway. He was so dehydrated. He fucking drank too much water. His red blood cells fucking swelled up. He had brain dysfunction. They thought he was concussed, but it was just that he fucking drank way too much water.
That's so wild.
It is, isn't it? Like water would actually do that to your body. It's fucking
Yeah.
crazy.
So let's all get fucked up on some water today.
Yeah, right?
No,
Junior-
people
It's
like
like you-
drown. You could drown yourself from doing people on like ecstasy and shit. What?
Did you fucking look it up?
I'm looking up hypohydration. I'm having a hard time finding everything about it.
Gee, I
was
wonder
just-
why.
I was just trying to get away from it a little. Save you some
Yeah, well,
fucking
you know,
suffering,
hypo
Remy.
means fast, and hydration
Hypo doesn't mean
means
fast. It's too much.
Well, according to fucking Terry G over here, it does. This guy was trying to kick knowledge on me like I'm stupid.
So, Junior, that fight last night between Dillashaw and Sandhagen, you feel like that was a good call? You think Dillashaw took it, or you feel like it could have went either way?
Yeah, man. I mean, there's definitely moments in the fights where I thought Sam had that, but I think at the end of the day, there is something to be said about the aggressor. You know what I'm saying? Like, he looked like he was gonna win the fight, and I definitely think it's the right call, man. Those things are tough, but I think that was the right call.
I don't. If it would have went to Sandhagen, I would have been upset. I felt like there was a very close competitive fight. It could have went either way.
Right.
But I do agree. I thought, from my vantage point, I thought Dillashaw was the aggressor. I thought he mixed it up a little bit better than Sandhagen. You know, he was taking him down, pressing him. If you go back to like the schoolyard and you didn't watch the fight, you saw them standing there after a fight, you looked at Dillashaw, you would think he lost.
Right.
Yeah, that cut was
Yeah,
gnarly.
Yeah, I
never looked
I
good.
saw some brutal knees, and then I saw Sandhagen locked up a crazy triangle. Like Dillashaw went to take him down, and he locked up a triangle like from behind.
The inverted triangle.
Yeah, it was badass.
A la Jorge Masvidal,
I'm
Toby
surp-
Amato.
Yo, I'm surprised he
Brandon Remy.
He hit my move.
That's your shit?
It's my shit, bro.
No,
he
no,
didn't,
it wasn't-
he didn't,
it wasn't
no,
really
like-
inverted.
Like you
I'm
start
kidding.
inverted. This was like Dillashaw went to like take him down, and he kind of went up and over his body and locked up the triangle like on the way down.
Pull up Toby Amato, Jorge Masvidal.
I'm surprised Sandhagen let go of that triangle, though. That
Please.
shit was deep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
so
deep too,
that-
but he didn't have the arm like how do you pull their arm?
He could have
across?
worked on that arm.
Yeah.
TJ had the posture though. He had good enough posture where he was stuck but wasn't being choked.
Right, but if he would have worked on that arm coming across the body, he could have choked him. That figure four was locked in.
It was tight, but I think he had a hard angle reaching back to get the arm.
That's
Yeah.
what I
His
thought
head
too.
was at his ass.
Yeah.
You know, so like it was gonna be tough. But
I feel like it was like a reverse triangle, not like inverted, right? It was weird.
Reverse.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a reverse. It wasn't
reverse.
inverted.
Sorry,
It was reverse.
my
So
it was a hypo triangle.
Yeah.
The hypo. My man hit him with the hypo triangle.
I'm gonna have to come up with a new move and call it that.
The hypo.
The hypo triangle.
The hippo triangle.
But yeah, so
Oh Lord, man.
Terry G got the Jorge Masvidal, Toby Amato. This is like
The same triangle.
same try. And Amato put Masvidal
Oh,
sleep with
I
that
see,
shit.
I see it happening right now.
in Bellator
Damn.
back in this was a famous one from back in the day. It's like 10, 11 years old. This might have been the first reverse or whatever hypo triangle you've seen. Shit is gangster. Look at the way Amada's holding.
Oh, he just goes out.
He's
He
got
doesn't
like
even tap.
he's got like the C clamp in his crotch, like he was holding like he was shooting for a high crotch.
Bro, that was sick.
Yeah.
It's dope.
I'm not gonna lie, like I don't know if this is like definitely in place or if it's still in the works, but Nick Diaz coming back to fight Robbie Lawler.
I saw that.
Take all my money for that. I
Wow,
pay
bro.
every
If
time
that
I watch
happens, I gotta see that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Like
That'd
that
be
those are
great.
two fucking good fighters. I'm kind of excited to see Nick Diaz back in the cage.
Dude, the first time they fought was like
I feel so
2004.
bad. Talk about a dude. Like, think about all the shit we talk about, bro, about guys using tricks to do weight cutting, guys getting capped for steroids. Think about all the years of badass fights we missed because of weed, because they want to suspend Nick for weed.
Such bullshit.
Bro,
crazy.
him and
Bro, I feel like he missed out on his career, bro. Like, they fucked that guy for real.
Oh yeah, 5-year suspension for an
That's
MMA
insane.
fighter.
they
That's
tried to
insane.
suspend him for life, dog.
Oh
So
my god.
No,
great.
the
That's
Right.
horrible, dude.
Vegas, the
Dude, it's
Vegas
not-
commission tried to suspend that motherfucker for life over weed.
Dude,
You
these,
talking about
crazy.
weed?
these guys talking about
Practice?
Are we talking about weed right now?
No, but these guys go to war. Like what they go to war for, like our entertainment. So like what they do on their own time is their business. Like as long as you're showing up
It
and
wasn't
like
really
putting
on
on a
his own
performance,
time.
like
He was fucking coming to
smoke
the
at the press
interviews.
conference. Yeah,
when he
whatever.
when he fought I can't
still.
remember the dude's name. He fought in Pride back in the day. He hit him with the go-go. Nick Diaz. He go-go plotted. What's his name?
Oh, yeah.
Why can't I think of his name?
The kid.
Yeah, I can't think of his name, but he
Terry G's on it.
one of the best fights you've ever seen. First ever
Is it
go-go plotted
Tak-
submission.
Takanori.
Yeah,
Gomi.
Gomi. That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah, he
Yeah, talking about Goldie.
he hit him with the go-go, and they overturned that fight because they said Nick Diaz was the levels of THC in his system were like insane. they said that it was like a performance enhancer because he was so stoned that he it could have numbed the punishment that he took. He was
Oh
so
my
fucking
God.
high. They said based on the levels in his system, he must have been like smoking in the locker room or shit before
Or
he
in
walked
between,
out.
or in between rounds.
He's eating edibles in his
Yeah.
corner.
But dude, that was one of the best fights ever, and that's a no contest now over fucking weed.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
That's fucking
That
crazy.
actually happened to me when I went to the hospital like two or 3 years ago. I go in and they like did the blood work. She's like, yeah, everything's fine. I think this is when I passed out on 4th of July or something. But I wasn't drinking, and
You were hypohydrated.
Hypohydrated.
No, apparently I was dehydrated. That's what the consensus was. And so whatever. She goes through my blood work and everything. She's like, yeah, everything's good, this, that. And I had her like do like all the extra shit because I wanted to see it anyway. She's like, yeah, but the only thing that came up, and she like looks around the room, like make sure no one's there. She's like, and then she like bends over and like whispers to me. She's like, your THC levels were extremely high.
Remy's like, no way, how'd that happen?
I was like, maybe because I smoked a joint on the way over here.
Remy's like, yeah, I was hanging out with my friends. We were in a car and everybody was smoking. I don't know what to tell you.
I was driving.
I was DD.
Yeah, it's crazy though. The whole evolution of MMA too. Like these guys that are coming out are like phenomenal fighters, man.
Yeah. Even at Flex, like a couple weeks ago, that one dude.
Oh, that kid was
the
bad.
Spanish kid?
Yeah, that kid was bad.
Oh, we talking about the kickboxing match?
The kickboxing
Yeah.
match. That kid was fucking phenomenal. But yeah, that was. He put the.
I
beats
met.
on that
Hold on,
kid.
what was his name?
Wrong with missiles.
So,
crazy.
Junior, is there a lot of Jits in Hawaii or not really?
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
Back in the old days, Helson Gracie came out here to Hawaii and started the Gracie Jiu Jitsu movement out here, man. So he still has his ever famous academy here in Hawaii. Every island, Maui, Oahu, the Big Island is where BJ is. Maui here, we've got Maui Jiu Jitsu as well with Luis Limao. It's super popular out here, man, and thank goodness, because much like any other small feisty towns, Hawaii's full of scrappers, man. So it kind of gave everybody something to do and somewhere to put all that energy,
Yeah, that's great. I started jiu-jitsu in 2002. I'm going to be 40 in April. And when I first started, man, it was like a dime a dozen. Like you didn't like nowadays there's jit schools everywhere. I mean, like where we are right now in Patchogue, New York, it's like we have gyms.
He's from Patchogue, actually, right? You lived in what, Patchogue, Junior?
Bro, yeah, that's for real. My grandfather still lives there right now.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's dope. Yeah, we have jiu-jitsu schools like in a mile radius of us right now. We have like at least 3 of them,
Yeah.
That is so crazy.
Yeah, they're popping up everywhere, which is good, though. It's good for the sport. It brings attention. You know what I'm saying? It gives out a better product, and it gives out a better selection for students who are looking to start up, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And I think we need more of that. There's for every gym, there can be a jiu-jitsu gym. For every bar, there could be a jiu-jitsu gym. And
Yes.
I'm hopeful that we start getting, better and better coaches and senseis out there rather than just looking for the best fighter, right?
Yeah.
Because we need good instructors that are instilling the true values and the lessons into the generation of the kids coming up. Or else, if we don't, it'll become like karate. Karate, once upon a time, is what everybody did because it served a purpose. And then karate went down the tournament route. And then you make a movie like The Karate Kid and everybody gets hyped. And then before you know it, karate schools just started being like, for a little while there, just the baddest ass dudes in the neighborhood. And then it just kind of fizzled out, right? Because everybody was like, oh, well, your school's whack. My teacher did this, this, and this. So we're all training here. And now look at karate schools. They're bunk now. Now nobody wants that credibility at these karate schools. And if jiu-jitsu doesn't be careful and we just start promoting only the best, quote unquote, competitors, and we fail to promote the best coaches, it's just going to be another taekwondo, which became karate, which karate is now jiu-jitsu. And I'm really hopeful because I do have a 6-year-old son and I want him to be around people that make him feel like this is fun, right? Because at the end of the day, I don't give a shit if my kid ever gets in a fight, or that's the least of my worries. I want my kid to go out there, have a good time, sweat, It's like playing a sport. It's like being on a football team, being on the soccer team. I want him to go out there and meet some homies. And as a byproduct, he's going to become strong, flexible. He's going to have good cardio. And then that parlays into life. So my hope is that as all these schools blossom everywhere, we just start promoting and getting good coaches out there, have good people out there. And I get nervous sometimes, with Instagram, people are always coach comparing. It's like, well, what did your coach do? What is this guy has this guy done? And it's like, man, unless your coach's wins help you become a better man, then I don't know what we're even asking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter what my coach has ever done. Yeah. It matters how he can affect my life when he's training me.
Man, there's so many. That's a great point. And there's so many guys in gyms that you've never heard of that are amazing, right? Like, look at Danaher. He put up that post a little while ago about a guy he's been training. Yeah, and he tapped out
world-class
black belt in a local competition. And it's a guy you've never heard of. He's like some lawyer who's been training 3 days a week forever, but like you never heard of this guy. And there's people like that in every gym across the world, guys you never heard of.
Oh, yeah.
And the same thing to be said about coaches. There's coaches out there that are amazing that you've never heard of.
You're saying
100%.
Like just because this guy doesn't have the name or the recognition doesn't mean he's not valuable. I mean, man, look at my own coach.
Exactly.
Keith Trimble, in my opinion, one of the best coaches in the world, in my opinion. He's pretty well known, but he's not a guy that gets the recognition, in my opinion, that he deserves.
Absolutely.
When you hear about the fighters in like the UFC, and you always hear about the Greg Jacksons,
Gregor,
Huff.
No, yeah, Henry Hooft. What's his name up in TriStar? I can't think of his name right now. You always hear about these guys, but man, there's so many coaches out there that are just as good as these guys, and they don't get the recognition. And Keith is one of them, in my opinion. I think Keith. You look at Keith's resume, man. Keith is the only guy I know that's had world champion kickboxers, boxers, and MMA fighters all at the same time. And
wow.
Yeah, I mean, that resume speaks for itself, right? But he doesn't get half the recognition that he deserves, and I'm sure there's probably 1,000 more like him out there that nobody's ever heard of, and they're great coaches. And just because they're not training competitors doesn't mean they're not great coaches, man. Like you said, there could be...
Yeah. And that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and like who knows what... There could be some coach in the middle of nowhere nobody's ever heard of, and that guy maybe he's not producing competitors, but he's producing individuals that come out of his gym and he's changing their lives,
Yep.
Or like, what about that guy that's blown up now?
We don't know.
The Daisy Fresh guy. Nobody heard of that guy. The Pedigo.
Yeah.
Nobody ever heard of that guy. And that guy's now producing killers left and right. And what are they, like Illinois or something?
Yeah,
like
Iowa or something like that. I think jiu-jitsu is going to be a lot like CrossFit, where it's, it's on its like kind of come up right now. It's blowing up everywhere. And then just like CrossFit, like people are just going to go right now to the cheapest gym, to the one that's closest to them, to, whatever's convenient, right? But then once there's so many to choose from, people and people start to actually go from gym to gym to gym, they're going to find the best coach and stick with that, which is going to allow the better coaches to rise, and then just like CrossFit, a lot of gyms closed, a lot of gyms merged together, right? I believe the same thing is going to happen in jiu-jitsu, where, because like we said, there's like fucking 5 gyms within a mile radius over here. And, eventually, I mean, it's still new right now, but eventually there's going to come a time where there's too many gyms, especially on an island. Like, how many gyms are we going to put on here? And the only ones that will survive, just like CrossFit, are going to be the best coaches.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a good point. I haven't thought of that, actually.
Right.
I was actually having a debate with
competition in business for everybody, man. Competition in business helps you raise your game. And, I've been in the fitness industry a long time, and one of the questions I get asked a lot is, oh, how did you guys make it in San Diego? There's a gym on every corner. And I say, man, that's how we made it, because when you see what your competitors are doing, which all the guys in the neighborhood are my buddies, when you see what's working for them, or you see them doing extra paint jobs, it makes you do the same thing. In business, competition is great, man. The last thing you want to do in a business is be the only one standing. I have a very good business mentor in my life, and he used to tell me back in the old days in the 60s and 70s, he'd flip open a Yellow Pages, and if he saw a business that had a ton of businesses in there, he knew that's the business he was starting, because he knew that there's no way all those businesses could survive if there wasn't the customer base for it. So if you see a city with with one nightclub and 50 plumbing companies, you better get your ass a plumbing company because all those guys are making money somehow.
That's awesome.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I never thought about it like that.
Nah, me neither. I was having a debate with this kid at my job. Figured I'd ask you boys. So it's been hot here. We've had some fucking real sizzling days. But this kid just started training. He's a bit of a fucking loser.
For lack of a better word.
Tell us how you really feel.
And the discussion came up about baby powder, using baby powder on the nuts. And he says that he puts baby powder on before he rolls.
God.
Would you guys ever put baby powder downstairs?
No, because you turn that shit into paste.
Yeah, right?
That's what I thought too.
It'd
My
be
friend
like-
said it didn't happen.
No,
I'm
it
like,
doesn't.
I've never done that
Pancake
before.
batter.
What's that episode of Friends where Ross puts on them leather pants and shit and he's putting powder on and can't get his fucking pants back on? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Oh, dude.
I just had a funny ass image of when you said that,
Oh,
bro.
dude, he's like on the phone struggling to get his pants on and shit. It's mad funny.
Yeah, like I looked at this dude with like 3 heads. I'm like, you put baby powder on before you roll, bro? I'm like, it has to turn into cake batter down there.
Cuts the chafing.
Yeah, bro. That's straight pancake batter. That's all bad.
Right? Like, no way. Like, I couldn't do that.
No.
You know what cuts the chafing down?
That's made for babies. Babies don't move, man. That's why you put it on their nuts. They ain't moving.
I was like, yo, you're gonna get swept.
Yeah.
You're gonna get swept. It's gonna look like LeBron James before a
Yeah,
game. throwing the
clapping out.
fucking-
That's the first thing I thought of when you said it.
right?
Yeah.
You get swept over, you hit the mat. It's like poof, baby powder in the air.
How dope would that be if every time you submitted somebody, that's what happened? you leave a training session just covered in powder, like, yo, damn, you were tapping everybody tonight.
Yeah, right. There's baby powder everywhere. I was like, yo, do you wear socks too when you go on the mat, bro? Like baby powder?
Do you ask him if he wears a condom too?
Yeah, right.
What did he say? What he wears it for?
Chafing. Yeah.
Oh, all right.
I'm like, in jiu-jitsu? No.
Just
never.
put fucking
spats on. Spats. Wear some like compression shorts.
Or
you
maybe
know?
lose some weight.
I
Dude.
feel like all the sweat like cuts down the chafing for me.
That's
I'm
what I
I'm like
feel like.
soaked. Like I don't need the powder.
Yeah, and he does the gi. So I'm like, how are your legs rubbing? You got gi pants on.
Maybe that's
There's
what
something else going on.
Yeah.
If this guy's chafing up in a gi doing jiu-jitsu, he's got other things he needs to look
Yeah,
at.
maybe
like,
it's not for him.
My man's got a bunch of life lessons coming up ahead of him, man.
yeah, he does, bro. He's green. He's green in life and on the mat. I couldn't believe it, and I'm like, what kind of guard you play? Like, I play open guard. My legs are never touching. Like, what are you doing on the mat to get chafing?
Yeah, I don't know about
Yeah, why are your thighs touching out there?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Sus.
yeah,
Sus.
bigly, bro.
I wonder if this guy actually even trains.
Yeah.
You say some shit like that to me, I'm like, you sure you do jiu-jitsu, bro? What the fuck you talking about? I don't know, man. Like,
Man, how about
Go ahead, man. Sorry.
speaking about training? What did you guys ever catch that the viral YouTube video from years back of that dude? I feel like he was on the East Coast who was fronting like he was a black belt, and the guy started going in his
that's from
studio.
Alex, Alex Vamos.
Yeah.
No, Alex.
Yeah.
Alex pretended to be a white belt.
Oh,
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about, Junior?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and he went in there with the undercover camera.
yes.
Yeah. Actually, it's funny because both those guys are my old training partners. I used to train with the guy Mike, who he went down to Alan Belcher's school and pulled that prank. And the guy Mike, who runs Belcher's program, is an old training partner of actually me and Nick's.
Yeah.
And then I used to train at Alex Vamos' school. We were
No
with them
way.
when that prank went on. We were there. It was fucking hilarious.
That's the funniest shit, right? Like,
Yeah.
What? So we just walked in acting like it was his first day. And
Yeah.
just started-
Like tied his belt wrong and shit.
And put on a white belt, and they were doing like King of the Mountain shit, and he just starts smoking people, and you see him like, and Alex is really good, bro, and you see him start like whooping some purple belts' asses, and this purple belt is like beside himself, and he's like,
You trained before?
yo, you trained before? He's like, yeah, I used to do kung fu, and he's like, we did some grappling when we did kung fu, and the guy's like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
He's like,
the faces on all these kids was hilarious. Everyone was
It was so
defeated.
funny.
They were defeated in that gym, and then at the end, they were like, "Yeah, this is actually Alex Vamos from New York. He's a black belt." It was so funny. It was a good video.
that shit's got like 4
I
million
love
views
it.
or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
What a great prank, though.
That was massive.
When that happened, I had just started teaching for them. They opened up a separate program at another gym that I was running, and I had one of my buddies come down Justin Post.
Yeah.
I had him come down, and we did that. I did that little prank on my students, and it worked on some of them, and others it didn't work because Justin had too much cauliflower ear. So some of my guys were like, "Get the fuck out of here!" Like, there's no way. But a couple of other guys didn't know, and they were like, "Yo, how's this guy a white belt?" He's like, "I used to wrestle," and they're like, "Something's not right here, man." And like, one of my other students was like, "Yo, you're full of shit. He's got cauliflower ear. We don't believe you." I was like, "Damn, you guys got me."
Talking about cauliflower ear, I love the dudes that wish they had cauliflower ear. You ever run into any guys like that, Junior?
Yeah. So funny.
Oh, bro,
They like
For sure.
they die. They die. Like their only goal in jiu-jitsu is to get cauliflower ear.
It's like the opposite of what I was trying to do my whole time.
Yeah, me too. I never wanted those ears, but
I wish I didn't have it, man. The amount of dumbass conversations I have to have now because of it is insane. Yo, speaking of that, so
Happened to me at the wedding.
dude, Junior, I do security. I bounce at a bar here in New York. Fire Island is like this little like beach island that's a part of Long Island. It's pretty popular. So I work at one of the busier beach bars at it. And last summer, a kid walks up to me and he's like, "Damn, man." He's like, "I always wanted to have ears like you." I was like, "Why?" He's like, "Yo, because he's like, it's badass, man." He's like, "You get a lot of respect." He's like, "I bet you nobody fucks with you, especially here now. Like, you know, your security, got those ears." I'm like, "You'd be surprised, bro." He's like, "Get out of here." "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, man." I'm like, "Alcohol, you know, it doesn't work out for people, man. You'd be surprised."
Liquid confidence, dude.
Yeah. Yo, 10 minutes later, I'm yelling at this kid because he's being a fucking jerk off. And he's like lipping off to me. I'm like, "Yo, motherfucker, do you not remember what you just said to me 10 minutes ago?" I'm like, "You're the asshole that I was telling you about."
Yeah.
Like,
you're being him.
yeah. I'm like, "You just came up to me and said, like, I bet you nobody fucks with me." And like, now you're being the asshole that's fucking with me.
There's everyone at every bar, right?
Yeah, you got. He's like, he's the hypo idiot right there. That's the hypo asshole.
Well done.
Shit.
But I will say,
Oh, man.
sometimes cauliflower ear has worked in my favor.
Yeah.
There's been times
Oh, for sure.
where, you know, sometimes you go to the right place, cauliflower ear gets you to the front of the line. I won't lie. So it's a double-edged sword. You had something like that too, Remy, right?
Yeah.
At the vineyard.
my
At the
God.
vineyard.
Oh, well, the vineyard. I thought you were talking about when I went to go pick up the halal food.
Oh, I didn't even hear about this.
I didn't even hear about that story
Yeah,
either.
that
Yeah.
story is so
That
good.
was so funny.
Yo, lay it on us.
I go into the halal food place over here, right? I pick it up, and the guy looks at me, and it looks like, you know, he does like one of those where he looks around, and he's like, "You box?" I'm like, "Box?" I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And he's like, your ears. He's like, "You box?" I was like, "Oh," I was like, "No, I'm like, I do jiu-jitsu, you know." And he's like, "What's that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I box." And he's like, and then somehow we started talking about the UFC or something. And he's like, you know Khabib? I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "He's the fucking man." I'm like, "Of course I know who he is." And he's like, you know McGregor? I'm like, "Yeah." And this was the night that McGregor was fighting. He's like, he's fighting tonight. He's like, "What time is it going to be on?" And he's like, I'm like, "Oh, it's probably late, like 12, 12 something." He's like, he's like, "I'm going to miss it." He's like, and then I'm leaving, and he's like, we were talking about the UFC and stuff, and he's like, "So do you fight?" And he gives me like the little hand.
Puts his hands up like he's like fucking boxing the air.
Yeah. I'm like, "Yes," something like that. Like I'll see you later, man.
That's
I had
awesome.
something happen to me recently. It was after the wedding Alexa and I went to recently. I roll into a 7-Eleven, and I don't know what I was getting. I go up to the counter, and the guy goes, You UFC? What? He's like, you UFC fight. I'm like, "Oh, yeah. I'm like, "I'm not in the UFC though." He's like, "Oh, UFC. I'm like, "No, I'm not in it." I don't think he understood. And he's like,
he definitely did.
yeah. So he's like, "You know how I know?" I'm like, "My ears." He's like, "Yeah, I see your ears. You UFC fighter." I'm like, "Yeah, man, cool." And he's like, I was getting a fucking ginger ale, and he's like, no, you take ginger ale. And he's like, can I have a picture? I'm like, "Dude, I'm not what you think." And I'm trying to explain to him that I'm not in the UFC. And he like grabs his coworker and points at me. He's like, "UFC fighter." I'm like, "Son of a bitch." I was like, "I'm not in the fucking UFC." And he asked me for a picture, and I was like, "I gotta go, man." And I just left. But he gave me a free ginger ale.
Take it, bro. Take it. I love ginger ale, bro.
I love it.
It's my favorite. It's like my favorite soda.
That is great.
happened to me the other night at the wedding. Some guy comes up to me and he's like, starts talking about it, about like UFC and shit, and I'm like, listen, man, I'm like, I don't really pay attention to that. I'm like, he's like, you're a fighter though, right? I'm like, I do Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. I'm like, it's basically just the ground. And and just the conversation went nowhere.
Isn't it the best trying to explain to people what Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is?
Yeah.
Right? Some of them think like it's punching and striking involved, and you have to like break down and explain to them like, no, it's not punching and striking.
I had to explain this to Alexa yesterday at dinner because she wants to start training, so I had to explain to her the differences because she's like, I don't want to get punched in my face. But I have a really good story that I haven't actually told on the podcast. I think Nick, you might have heard this, but it's a hilarious story. It relates to the cauliflower thing. So. Junior, I work for CompuBox. We do like all the punch counting, when you see like the stats. Yeah, it's a cool gig. So a couple of years ago, we were working for the PFL, and it's a pretty dope situation because the guy who I worked with, he's one of my close friends. He used to fight too. He's a training partner of mine. So we flew down to Louisiana, and two of my training partners were fighting that night in the semifinals of the PFL. And so I was down there with my buddy who was working with me, my coach Keith, Andre Harrison and Chris Wade, who were fighting. And so we go down, they fight, and then the next day was the Conor Khabib fight. And our buddy Ryan LaFleur, who owns Island Cava, where we are right now, he was fighting. He was the first fight on that card that night. So me, my buddy Eric, and my coach Keith fly out to Vegas for that. And Ryan hooked us up, man. He gave us tickets and shit. So we went out there basically for free. So we, I think it was the night... No, it was the night after the fights. We're walking through the Bellagio, me and my buddy Eric, and I had a PFL hoodie on. So I'm walking through the casino, and Andre Feely walks by. I don't know if you guys know Andre Feely. He's Team Alpha Male. He's in the UFC and shit. And
yeah.
I don't know him. I know who he is, but I don't know him. And I'm walking through the casino, and he's walking past me, and he's like, yo, what's up, man? How you doing? Shakes my hand. He's like, you got anything coming up? I'm like, no. He's like, oh, no doubt, no doubt. He's like, all right, man, we'll get some training in soon. And Eric turns to me. He's like, you know that guy? I'm like, I know who he is. I was like, but I don't know him. He's like, why'd he talk to you? I'm like, I'm going to be honest with you. I think he thought, because I had the PFL shirt on, I have cauliflower and shit, he might have thought that we might have trained together at some point or something, like, and was just being friendly and just assumed that I was like one of his peers or something like that. Just strictly off the cauliflower here in the T-shirt.
That's hilarious.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I quickly want to get your weight up, not your hate up.
Let's go.
So, Junior, we do
bro.
We do some segments here on Jits and Tits. One of them is Get Your Weight Up, Not Your Hate Up. It's a segment where we kind of like vent on some bullshit that we highly disagree with. So mine today is going to be hugging after these motherfuckers fight in the cage.
Oh, Nick, this
the
grinds.
I think
it grinds my gears.
I think
man.
it's like a respect thing. Like you go to war and you're like, yeah, you fucking did your thing.
I definitely get where it's coming from, but like I feel like it's when you meet a girl or you're introduced to a girl and then like you're gonna say goodbye and like you give her like extra long hug. It turns to be a little creepy. So I feel like, yeah, you guys want to go out.
It's called the trap hug.
It's the trap hug. Yeah. So that's how I look at these long ass hugs after the fight. Like I get you're trying to show some respect to the other dude, but like a quick hug, pat on the ass, good job.
You got a
great war.
A pat on the ass is cool, but not a hug.
No, I'm talking about these long ass hugs where you see these guys. I'm talking about a baseball pat.
How do you feel about docking? Like right after, you just take your cup out and dock.
That would be aggressive too. But I just some of these guys hug for like 15 seconds. It's like, dude, like get the fuck away from me. Like a quick hug, no doubt.
I can't breathe.
Yeah, I can't breathe. I'm done touching you. Like, can we just like get our hands raised and get the fuck out of here? Like, I can't take the long ass hug, man. I can't do it.
You got to also know something about Nick.
He's the hater.
Yeah, Nick's the hater.
It's in my blood.
This guy hates on everything, bro.
Junior, it's in my blood, bro. It's just the way God made me.
The whole segment of Get Your Weight Up, Not Your Hate Up, 9 times out of 10, it's just Nick.
Shit.
I'm trying to think. I'm like, damn, what? I'm like, what's my shit? I have no idea. I couldn't even come up with them.
I can tell you one. Waking up at 4:45 to do a podcast.
No, we appreciate that, man. That's dope.
Yeah.
But I'm being for real though,
you
man.
guys.
I can't take the long ass drawn out hugs.
What's the threshold? What's acceptable, and where does it get to where you're
Yeah,
like,
where's the cutoff?
wrap this shit up?
10 seconds, 5 seconds. Is
Nah, it's even long, man. I'm
Yeah.
saying
Just
like
touch,
how you,
like chest touch. and
yeah,
then
like how
out
you
of it.
dap up your homie.
Yeah.
You know, quick pull in, pound, yo, good fight, thanks,
Right.
bro, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? But like they're sitting there for like
It
10
might-
seconds hugging each other.
This all started. I remember.
Yeah,
the
it might
night-
have to be.
I remember the night Nick really lost it. We were here watching Uriah Hall, Anderson Silva, and they were fucking bowing and hugging and bowing and hugging.
Yeah.
And Nick was like, "Yo, this is fucking bullshit."
It's extra, bro. It's extra. Like, yeah, a little respect. That's it. It's like putting a little like salt and pepper on your baked potato. You know what I'm saying? You don't go too hard on that. It's a little sprinkle, baby. That's it.
Good analogy.
I try to get that off my chest.
See, I don't know. I don't have as big of a problem with it. I think when it goes excessively, where it just keeps going on, then I'm like, all right, it seems a little like fake in a way.
Yeah.
When it goes on too long, but I don't have a problem with people showing respect. But I'm
It gets disingenuous sometimes.
Yeah,
100% it does, 100%.
for
But
sure.
I don't know. What do you guys think? You got a problem with it?
So you must have loved it after the last fucking Connor fight when like Poirier's wife's like giving him the finger and
I
shit.
love
and
that
they're
shit.
like no, they're like nowhere near each other.
I
like
love
yeah,
that shit, yeah.
fuck you, your shit's broken. Just lay there.
Yeah, well, kind of also went off the deep end on some of that shit talking.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like they do. It's like theatrics to like get more pay-per-view buys, and then after they're like, all right, we made a lot of money. Let's hug it out. Like we just made each other rich.
Yeah, let's make out.
You know what I just realized? Something, and it's funny because I was talking about this earlier when I called you with Alexa. We were talking about training shit, and I was explaining to her how me and Nick have done a lot of rounds together. I just realized something. I don't think me and you ever touched gloves before around.
We probably didn't.
in the fucking training room, there was never even like a touch of the gloves. It
Nope.
was just like we're fighting
We
tonight.
got right to business. That's funny.
Do
What
be
about
facts.
That's awesome.
what about some companies that can't just say a simple no?
Yeah, that was
Oh shit!
We're
Let's go ahead, Remy.
So we're not going to say the company, and we're not going to say the male
No.
or female's name.
No. So, Junior, we reached out to a company probably like last week in regards to a sponsorship for the podcast.
A pretty prominent one in the jiu-jitsu world too.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
we reach out, we send them, little email, little sponsorship contract, whatever.
Yeah, telling them
He
like
read,
what.
he
Telling
read the
us.
same email.
Oh,
He read
so
it.
Oh, yeah.
so Junior, you're up on this story then.
No. He read
Oh,
the
yeah.
email
He got the
No, not the story, just-
in regards to sponsorship.
Oh, okay.
through the breath belt. I sent
Oh,
him the email.
Yes. But he didn't get any details.
No,
on
I
what-
didn't tell him the story.
Yeah, so we get into it with this company, respectfully, professionally, and their response was like,
Very long, drawn out, like
You're you pulling it up?
You want me to pull it up? All right,
Yeah.
I'll get it and I'll read it.
ridiculous. Like a simple no would have been sufficient here, but like this person
Right.
obviously got hurt sometime in their life.
All right, so you want me to read it?
Yeah.
yeah, go
All
for
right,
it.
so Junior, this is the response we got. Good afternoon. Thank you for reaching out to inquire about sponsorship with Redacted Jiu-Jitsu Company. A podcast featuring men who talk about life and jiu-jitsu while sharing relatable thoughts and having good conversations is possibly appealing. When those same conversations are promoted as a, air quotes, guys podcast with, air quotes, locker room talk and a logo of a semi-naked woman with a black belt around her breasts, that podcast not only loses credibility in our eyes, but also our respect. Redacted Jiu-Jitsu Company is committed to the development of martial arts industry, including the development of women within that industry, whether they are athletes, coaches, gym owners, or work in the roles. To us, these women are more than just, air quotes, tits in a podcast name and on a logo. Redacted Company is not interested in partnering with or sponsoring your business now or in the future.
I mean, it's just
a simple no would have been just fine.
I know, but we
Yeah.
have badass women
Yeah.
like wearing these shirts, wearing these rash guards, like reaching out,
Dude, the
telling us
last-
they love it. Like,
the last 5 rash guards we sent out were all to chicks.
To women.
yeah, they love it.
Yeah.
I mean, not all, obviously not all
Yeah,
of them,
that-
but there are women who are badass and like they're into like the whole scene. So I
See-
don't understand like.
What I would like to know is if this company sponsors any female athletes that post
Slutty
provocative
pictures.
things like, yo, and more power to them. But
Sure.
like to boil us down to just like that our stance is women are just tits in a podcast is ridiculous because it's like clearly you've never listened to our fucking podcast before.
Yeah.
Like man,
We
the
don't
Jits
even
and
really
Tits.
talk about women that
No,
much.
we went for the name because
It's catchy.
it's catchy and
It's provocative.
we're 5 dudes. Like,
in my,
what do you?
in my
like-
Instagram reel.
Yeah, so Junior, that's how we came up with the name. Because we were talking about starting this podcast, and we were like, yo, what will we call it? And Nick's like, yo, my Instagram feed is all just Jits and Tits. And we're like, yo, that sounds hilarious. And not for nothing, man. Like, I can understand, okay, maybe it sounds a certain way, but
Do your research.
do your research. And not for nothing, it's super ignorant to just assume that that's what we are about based on just a name. Like,
Yeah, we're not like belittling women here.
no,
for, like,
never. We don't. We had female fighters on our podcast to give them a platform. Who's one of our close friends.
Yeah, my wife came up with the logo.
Yeah.
Yeah, a
My
woman.
girlfriend thinks it's great. So, like, man, it's actually it's actually a celebration. We actually appreciate it.
That's
It's,
awesome.
you know, and like, just because, like, why is tits derogatory? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What if it was
Jits and breasts?
mats and breasts, like,
Yeah.
oh, because we went with the scientific term.
Jits and dicks.
Yeah, come on, man. And like, I get like this whole PC culture bullshit, but like, it's just ridiculous.
I think you guys should just do you guys should do an off-brand Jits and Dicks and just make everybody happy and just do just make another logo.
That would be some crazy
You should
logo,
write
bro.
that. You should,
And then
you
I'll
should
email
reply,
her again.
You should reply to their email with, "Hi," just pretend you've never talked to them ever. Hey, this is Jits and Dicks. We're looking for a sponsorship.
Yeah.
Oh, imagine they sponsor us then. That'd be fucking hilarious. I'm just saying, this person
Yeah,
that
just put like
this person that
a
fucking
giant cock with a blue belt on it.
nah, blue balls.
I definitely said this person who responded to the email obviously was hurt in her former years by some fucking guy or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I felt like she just gave herself like a big pat on the back after sending the email. Like, I showed those guys. I taught them a lesson today.
You must have got us confused with somebody who had any value for your respect.
Yeah.
I emailed her back. I said, if you want to tell us to go fuck ourselves, you could have just said it.
Yeah, you didn't have to write this fake
You know?
email.
Yeah, and I was like, you
Fake
have to-
nice email.
My problem with it is like, you just painted us as ignorant, and your reply was
super.
just as ignorant. Like,
Yeah.
have you listened to it? But because there's a word tits, which is like, really? Tits? Is that derogatory? I could see if it was like
Right.
jits and sluts and whores and shit like that. Like,
Yeah.
sluts and all right, maybe you got a point.
Sluts and whores.
Yeah, you might be onto something
Yeah,
here, but
like, I get your point. But like, come on, man. Like, and like I said, if you actually ever listen to it, you would know what we're actually about.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
it's like, you can't. The name is strictly for fun. Like, we're not.
Right.
We're a fun podcast. We're trying to have fun. We're not just like breaking down matches and doing only technical stuff. Like, we'd like to have fun with it, and that's part of the culture of jiu-jitsu. Like, you're gonna tell me like this woman trains jiu-jitsu and you've never been on the mat and around the guys and had some jokes and laughs, like, and you know that it's not coming from a bad place. Like, the talking after training and having fun with everybody is half of what makes jiu-jitsu awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Community.
So like, yeah, you're gonna tell me you never sat around with any of your male training partners and had some giggles? You know,
yeah, get the fuck out
Right.
of here.
Yeah, like, come on, fuck out of here.
Well, Danny Stoffi was saying like that's a definition of judging a book by its cover. Like, she just wrote us off completely just based on our name. Doesn't know
Yeah.
anything about us or anything.
It's the whole cancel PC culture bullshit that we live in now, man. Like, you can't. What happened to fun?
Yeah, exactly.
Saying everybody got to stick up their ass. It's
Yep.
like, you know, everybody wants to be this like special, unique person, and it's like, man, if you have that freedom to be you and be this special, unique person, I have the freedom to call you a fuckhead while you do it. Then
Yeah,
you know what I'm
right.
saying? Like, it goes both ways.
It definitely does. Not in today's world, though.
All right, boys. I think we're getting to that
Man.
time.
Yeah, we are.
Wait, I got to say something though. Junior, man, I feel like I wish you were in the room with us, man. You fucking fit right in immediately. Like,
Yeah,
if you were-
yeah.
If you were sitting in the room with us, like, we'd be kicking it, man. It was awesome having you.
Yeah,
thank-
man.
Thank
if
you
you're
so
ever back
much.
on the East Coast,
Thank you.
holla at your boys.
Yeah, definitely. If you're out here,
Absolutely.
come in, sit down. We'll have some kava together. You can check out the spot.
We could train a
Man,
little bit.
that's wild because, you know, on a separate note, you know, kava's like that's like a Samoan staple, man. You know, we made that shit famous.
Oh, wow.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
What do you mean? It's the whole
Yeah,
fucking
bro.
thing's on the wall right in
You know,
front of you,
like,
dog. The whole story of
Bro,
kava is right there. It's all Polynesian.
Yeah, I'll show you guys. Like, you know, it's like on our Samoan seal. It's like on the money and shit.
Oh shit! Really?
Do you guys?
Yeah,
So you guys have
I got
like,
a tattoo. I got a tattoo on my arm with a kava bowl.
Oh,
oh,
shit!
that's awesome.
Yo, you got to send us that. We got to post that. That's dope.
So you have spots?
Okay, yeah, for sure, man.
Around you?
What'd you say?
Is there
Say
a bunch?
again?
Is there a bunch of like kava bars like around you, like spots you go to locally, or it's something that people are kind of just making on their own?
Yeah, you just make it on your own, man. We call it Mudweiser.
Dude, I fucking love that.
So do I. That's dope. That's dope. All right, Junior, we're gonna wrap this up, man. Thanks for coming
All
on.
right, brother.
Thanks for waking up early and chilling with us today. We
Yo,
really appreciate it.
Real quick, just plug yourself
you.
if anyone wants to go ahead and follow you, or if they're in Hawaii, they can reach
Shit,
out
I'm,
to
about,
you.
I'm about to follow you right now. Hit me with that Instagram.
I'm on Maui. If anybody wants to find me, you can find me at junior.leoso on Instagram. I post a lot of the good stuff there. Some of our other business accounts are there.
How do you spell that, Junior?
There's two accounts that Junior. Last name is Leoso, Leoso. And if there's two accounts you got to go follow right now, one is The Breath Belt, so at The Breath Belt. And the second is Landmine University. So check those out. Make sure you follow those. Those are the two best things happening right now in the fitness industry.
You're about to get a notification you being followed by Sleepy D-Rock. So
Yeah, I just followed two of them.
All right, Junior. Thanks again, man.
All right,
We
boys.
appreciate you.
All right, thanks, Junior.
My pleasure.
Peace.
See you later, bro.
Yo, we're still recording.
that guy's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
guy's
no,
dope,
he's
man.
awesome.
I'm glad he came on today.
I told you, it's my dude Junior.
Yeah, he's a dope dude. All right, boys, let's wrap this up, though.
Yeah,
Yeah, wrap it up. It's a good podcast.
Hold on.
there's no one in here.
Yeah, what's the rush?
we didn't do a podium.
That's after.
Yeah, that's a whole.
I'll do a separate
Oh,
segment.
my bad. All right.
Damn,
All right.
baby.
Damn.
Sorry, I was just having fun, man. I was trying to keep the gravy train rolling.
Damn.
Yeah, this guy don't even know how to work the mixer.
Damn.
Shit.
All right, guys, thanks for listening. Definitely check out Junior's doing some really cool things with
Yeah.
the Breath Belt, Landmine University, and obviously just an awesome dude all around.
Yep.
We didn't do a question of the day either. We got Sean. Sean just walked in. Let's hit the question.
let's
of
hit
the
the
day.
question.
Yeah, we can hit a
We're gonna
question
keep
real
saying we're
quick.
cutting this shit short, and then we're gonna keep going back.
Yeah, we're faking these motherfuckers out.
Damn, dude.
Blue balls.
Sounds like we're rookies at this. Can we act like we've been here before?
I don't see
You
Sean.
wanna
He
hug
might
it
be in
out?
the bathroom.
Damn.
All right, Nick's getting weird.
No, we could do it. Let's do it. Where's Sean?
I think he's in the bathroom or some shit.
Probably taking a deuce.
Yeah, taking a duty. All
Someone go
right, I
back-
got a
somebody
question
else,
for you. I got a question.
Oh, you got a
for
little something, something?
Yeah, I got a little something.
Wait,
All right.
didn't I send the one to the chat?
I don't know. I don't know what the fuck you
We
said.
could do
in the chat.
multiples.
All right, so if you could, would you live forever?
Yes.
You would live forever.
Yeah.
Well,
You can't
Just you.
you can't kill yourself one
You
day.
can never kill yourself.
That'd be really sad
you
to
live.
like
You
see all
live
my
forever. Just you, not your whole family, not your group
friends.
of friends.
All right. Do I get super old
Yeah,
and like
that's my
elderly,
question is,
or
do
you
do I kind of stay
age?
like how I am now?
Yeah. Whatever age this happens, 38, 35, 27, whatever it is, you stay at that age. You don't get old.
yes.
You'll never die.
Yeah, I would.
But your family and friends aren't going to get that same gift.
That's so
Yes.
sad.
So Rem, you're gonna live forever?
Yeah.
Damn, dude, you're gonna be a lonely motherfucker.
No, he'll make
Dude,
new friends.
make new friends.
Replaceable.
He don't make friends.
Make new friends at the Jits.
The Jits.
At
How
the
good you would
Jits.
get at jiu-jitsu, bro?
Seriously.
Yeah,
A lifetime?
I would
more than a lifetime. Dude.
I would
You
do
live
it right
forever.
now. Right now at 27 years old, and then in 100 years I'd be the best fucking jiu-jitsu.
Practitioner
Belt.
out there.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would live forever, to be honest with you.
Now let me ask you a question. Does my belt stay blue the whole time?
No.
I get better.
Yeah, you get to wear different clothes and shit, dude. You're not like stuck in the same outfit.
You can still walk around barefoot. You can
Bart
still walk
Simpson.
around barefoot everywhere.
Yeah, you can still walk around. I personally, I wouldn't live forever, man, because
No.
I don't even want to pass away after other people pass away. I'd rather die
So
first.
if you could die at any age, what would it be?
The age I'm at right now.
Damn, bro.
Die.
Yeah.
All right,
that's it.
Damn, you dark motherfucker.
Dude,
That's
a
some
friend of
morbid
mine
shit.
said he brought up like a kind of like crazy thing to think about, but he was like, I guess like he's getting a little older, like not super old, but basically like the aches and pains are starting to happen. He was saying like, I wish I could just stay right here, like say like you live till you're 70, but your body doesn't like deteriorate anytime.
Yeah, no.
anymore.
I was
so
just
between
joking.
them.
I would definitely try to live to like 100. I would like to live to 100.
yeah, I
in
want to
the,
be
in the
100.
90s, you know. But like I said, though, I wouldn't want to like pass after like you guys or Lisa, something
that'd
like
be
that shit.
that'd be so hard experiencing.
It would
like,
be.
all
That would be tough, but I think the reason why I would want to do it is
What, live
that-
forever?
Yeah, because like I get what you're saying, like losing people's stuff, and it's like
Yeah.
I see my father dealing with that now. My father's 80, and in the last couple of years, he's had a lot of people pass on him, and like his closest friend that he's literally been friends with for 70 years just passed, my uncle, and that was real hard on him. You know,
Yeah.
but when you start getting to that age, that's what happens, and that would be tough. But thinking about living, say 200-300 years, man, to see like what happens, like to see the advancements that people make, and like, man,
Yeah, it's
things that you never like,
or
man,
how we go backwards.
or yeah, like imagine that you were born in
World War One.
no, even
Or
before.
even
So
earlier.
you were born like before before the war,
Pyramids?
before the independence, you know, before the revolution, before the American Revolution, and then you lived through the American Revolution, you lived through the Civil War, you lived, and now you're here, present day, and it's like, when you were born, it was horse and carriage and buggies, and now you
Yeah.
have all this technology. To see that would be so cool.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that bums me out about dying is like missing out. I think about like I honestly feel like our generation and maybe the one just after us, like maybe like babies being born right now, that might be a generation that lives forever. Like with everything that's happening in technology, like this is a generation that may live forever or live to be 200-300 years old with all the
definitely.
advancements. And I feel like we just missed it. Like our generation might just miss that.
Definitely.
And that bums me out. That would be cool to see the advancements and what happens. So.
I mean,
Do
I
you
definitely agree with you too, because I kind of feel like we personally lived through that. Like I remember when it was payphones, house phones, cell phones, internet,
dial-ups.
Yeah. So like, I
Plug
agree
in
with
your
you.
internet
It would be pretty dope.
VCR.
Yeah.
Like, think about how much technology.
VHS tapes and shit.
Yeah, think
DVDs.
about that, dude. Think about DVDs. 15 years ago, DVDs were the shit.
Yeah.
Nobody uses
nobody
DVDs.
uses
anymore.
that.
We've
Yeah.
seen new technologies come and fade so fast.
I don't even have a DVD player.
Yeah,
No.
neither do I.
You don't have a CD. Remember the CD book you used to have?
Yeah, for the
Yeah.
car, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Shit was-
gone.
Shit was like a fucking Bible, dude.
Yeah.
Thick as a Bible. Thick as
Yeah.
my dick.
Like, so that's what I think would be cool to live that long for.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. I just look at like the part that would be the hardest is like watching everybody like leave. You know what I'm saying? Like it would suck. You know?
100%.
So I don't know. I don't know if I would live forever. Even with the idea of like watching like the world develop and change and technology grow and get better. Like I don't know. I actually feel like I was like put into this place at the wrong time. I should have been like born like in like the 30s. You know? I
Dude.
came into this shit too late.
One time I met this World War II veteran, and it was his birthday, and he was walking down the street with like a 12-pack of beer. He started talking to me, and it was really fucking sad. He was like, today's my birthday, and then he was like, all my friends are gone. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know why I'm still here. And I'm like,
Yes,
that's fucking, I'm like, dude, it's like heartbreaking. Like this. Like,
It's the
sad,
same
like,
for my
old man.
my old neighbor Jim. Like he's
Yeah.
78 years old, dude, and
But-
he has no other friends.
But he's also gonna. I mean, not to sound like a dick, but he's also gonna die soon too. So it's like he doesn't
No,
have.
he's not.
I'm saying within
20 years.
within a reasonable amount of time.
Right.
You know, so he's in the mindset where he can't go out and make new friends. If you're living forever, you fucking go out and make new friends because
Yeah,
you're
you
gonna
can
be
go
here
out
for
and-
fucking ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like also having the mindset, like knowing that.
Yeah.
You know.
It would just be hard
help
knowing
out.
that everyone you know that's close to you,
Yeah, I'm not
you're
saying
still
it'll
going to
be
be
easy.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's happened already at some point in our lives, man. Like I think about the childhood friends that I grew up with that I thought I'd be friends with forever, and like life changes, man. You like
Yeah.
it's sad, but also it's good in a way because man, if that stuff doesn't happen, I don't have the current friends I have, and I would miss out on that.
Yeah.
You know, so there's pros and cons to everything, but like imagine how useful you would be, like knowing so much stuff.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
true too.
You would be so useful.
You'd be the guru.
I feel like I'd still be completely useless. Just being honest.
You get super good at welding.
Yeah, you would.
Oh, for sure.
I wonder
Yeah.
how many sets of teeth you'd go through.
A lot.
Damn.
I would have 3 that aren't going anywhere, and the rest of them would probably be gone.
Yeah. Well, Toothless Terry's never gonna die in my eyes.
Yeah, bro, because you got them on the
He's
slides.
immortalized right now on those
Dude,
slides.
let me get a picture of those.
Bang,
Let's
Dude,
see.
in the
baby.
Remy Fit
Yes.
hat, I love it.
Yeah.
Bang, baby.
Yeah, this was our birthday party.
I'm gonna have to
That
post a
was.
picture of that.
Post that on Jits and Tits, baby. I'm never
All
gonna.
right,
I'm never gonna let fucking Toothless T die.
that's so fucking funny.
I love it. Fucking love it.
All right, now let's wrap it up.
All right,
All right.
let's wrap it up. Good podcast today. Thanks for
Great
listening.
podcast.
Wait. Just kidding.
Damn, I thought we were gonna do it again.
Catch us on the platforms, yo.
I'm gonna keep this with me.
You can't, dude. I only have one on my foot.
Yo, Nick.
Come on, bro. Yo, white sand, baby. All right, thanks for listening. Peace.
Ta-ta.